Evening, gents.
You all right, Chris?
Yeah.
Chris?
You want a bit of razzmatazz to start? You don't get on Sky Sports, do you?
As if people didn't hate this intro enough, we don't need 10 minutes of us spinning on chairs in my kitchen.
Middle-aged men.
What's your thoughts on the island, anyway? Too big?
No, it's a little bit big, isn't it?
It's the first time I've ever seen it clear.
I sprayed it as well.
Did you?
It's a flora. It's a lovely drop. Anybody that's not.
Lovely drop.
It's not.
What have you been
It
doing?
looks like you've had a few lovely drops.
drinking it.
How many bottles
Nice
have
with a
you got
bit
in
of
here?
tonic. I know my dad was down.
Yeah, it's
piss
the first
pot.
time I've seen it cleared.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. That's a flora.
David Stockdale last week. Hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's with what I've seen on Twitter and everything. He's half resurrected himself in the Birmingham area.
A few apologies, isn't they?
Yeah.
From Birmingham fans. He sounds like a tit, doesn't he, that Dom?
But like he said, he he doesn't hold anything against the club or the fans, or the fans were brilliant, and it's just a shame when a bad owner tarnishes.
But he's still there, isn't he? He's still there.
Yeah,
Is he?
I think they're
he's
pushing
gone,
for a
hasn't he?
takeover.
Dong's gone.
Oh, Dong,
But
yeah.
the
Ding
owner's
dong.
still...
Right.
Gone. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Monkey doesn't come out of it too well, does he?
No, but it's like we've talked about loads of times about the owners pulling the strings and with his hands tied behind his back, where he's like, "Well, what do I do? I've got to put him with the 19s or wherever he puts him, or if I go against the owner, that's my job gone."
Yeah. But you'd rather him just tell you that, wouldn't you? Can't play you. I've got
I don't know why they don't.
I've got Ding Dong upstairs saying I can't play you. I can't play you.
But then is that then? Well, yeah, I suppose if you put it like that, because I was going to say, is that weakness from the manager going amongst the lads? He's not even calling shots.
But everybody really knows that
anyway. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You're just masking over the obvious, aren't you?
Tell you what, by the way, they're not. What eating?
No, there's this nippy in here, isn't it? I'm going to put my jacket back on.
Crisis in the world, lads.
I think,
World crisis,
I think
man.
if you can keep warm, I think,
Paying your bills will fucking help.
I think if you can keep warm, it's quite
Yeah,
essential.
my feet are cold.
Yeah.
I don't put the heating on in here. I'm never in here.
What in there?
Getting the big end. Did you see one of the best videos I've seen is when Ronaldo pied Neville. Not so much the actual pie, but I think Carragher put something up, and it was like when you get on a train without a ticket and the inspector walks down the aisle.
You've got to avoid eye
He
contact.
stood there and you can see Ronaldo and he's going, and then he just fucks off.
I've never had a pop at him then.
Do you know what? He speaks really, because he loves him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he said what he's done is out of order. And Ronaldo, have you seen it?
I've seen it, yeah.
I don't think he said anything ridiculous. He's just said you can't be doing that. And
Cristiano
stuck up for the
took
manager.
offence.
The manager's dealt with it well,
Yeah.
in Neville's opinion. And he obviously seen it coming because of the eyes. Like, oh, is he gonna? Yeah, he's just pied it.
But I think the best thing about it was Carragher put it up within about 4 seconds, didn't he?
Straight on.
Something like, welcome to the Ronaldo Pie Club or something, wasn't it?
He zoomed in on his telly and he's Neville there like...
Fucking grow up, Cristiano. You know, I've said it for years, he's an arsehole.
Yeah.
I've been telling you for years. Absolute twat.
Luke Varney this week.
Yeah.
Teammate.
Yeah, for a bit.
Good in the dressing room.
Yeah, Jack in the box.
Yeah. You got that. It's
It's one of them, if you come in on a morning and you're in a bit of a
Sulk.
tired, quiet, and then he comes barging through the door like a bat out of hell. Within a minute, I'm fine.
You're not tired anymore.
He said, I think we talked about it in the episode, how, we say about people liking players around the place, and you see it from the perspective of, like you said, if you've had a bad defeat or anything, the lightening the mood and people not being focused on the bad side of things, being able to relax, enjoy himself.
See,
Yeah, he says he took pride in it, didn't he? He
Yeah.
said that's one of his strengths as a...
See, there's a fine line with that though, with the managers. Is if you've been dicked away and you're on the coach after,
Someone's dicking about.
and somebody's having a laugh and a joke, the manager could think, he don't give a fuck, him.
Yeah. Well, we flew back from Plymouth under McCarthy, and he was sat at the front, and the lads were messing about at the back, and he's come marching down the aisle.
Mick has.
Aye. I was like Gary Neville. I remember it. And he tore the lads.
A new one.
Yeah.
So that's the fine line,
like you
innit?
say, there's a time and a place. If it was Monday morning, then he probably wanted it, but 2 hours after.
Have you just got dicked at Plymouth and all?
Yeah.
It's a tough place to go.
It is.
But yeah, I can imagine him being an incredible teammate, not the best roommate. So I think you get to the
get
point
too
where
much
you're
for
like, look, just fuck off.
Especially
After
especially if you've been
courses.
brought off and you've got a sulk on.
You just had 3 courses for your tea. You just want to get the telly on,
Yeah.
speak to nobody.
Get in bath. Maybe a sleeping tablet before you get off.
Tell you one thing though, love will keep us together.
Well, not many t-shirt.
Yeah.
Good fit.
Galapagos Island, is it?
No.
But is it
Lottery
supposed to be an
winners,
island?
Local
Or,
band, Lee.
or is it?
Support local businesses.
Fellow
Loads?
band members.
It's not loads of sharks, is it? Feeding?
Oh,
Are the mountains?
yeah.
It's new as well, is it? Because it's still black.
Brand spanker. It's fresh
fully-
out the packet this morning.
It's damp. I've just touched it, then it's damp. Fucking hell, have you got a leak in here at all? The fucking island's going to be like a swimming pool.
Should we get him in then?
Yeah.
Oh, live shows, they're all on sale. Including, I think Norwich is coming very soon, I believe.
Dublin's good to go.
That's on sale.
We want that to be big because we want everybody to come over and have a good weekend.
Yeah.
don't
And
we?
after Woody's demonstration, I think there's been looking for somewhere in Plymouth, maybe, possibly.
Yeah.
We'll fly back. I'm not fucking getting. I'm not in car to Plymouth.
He's invited us to
But
a
we'll
gig as
see.
well, Chrissy.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Just me and you?
Just me and you.
Get your sends off, lads. It's have a nice night. Will it be all expenses paid and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of
You
course.
sure?
VIP.
Oh,
VVIP, I think he said.
Oh, was it? Double?
What is that actually? Because that is a
two-
thing, isn't it?
Very,
VV.
very.
Very, very
Yeah,
important
yeah.
person.
Double V's. That's for you while you sat at home watching DVD like we were last
Well,
Friday.
if it clashes with a Robbie concert, I'm not able to make it. 'Cause I'm good on tour with him, to be honest.
Should we get him in then?
Yeah, let's get him in. See you in July, Woody. and the lads.
Always loved Bastille, hadn't you?
Oh, honestly, I'm his second favourite band after Robbie.
Spoke a bit about the my initiation at Blackburn.
Interesting. Yeah.
You took the heat right off me.
To be fair, I think you all got away lightly. It was being on a bus instead of a stage, you know what I mean? But I remember that well because didn't we play the game in the day and Gaz had offered us a night out and I think Craig Conway got offed in the corner and we all ended up having a full-scale scrap, hadn't we? I had corner flags out, whacking Spanish lads and everything. But,
What, on the game?
Yeah.
I've spoke about it. Remember Willow?
Yeah,
Willow's 5'7" and he's all in, isn't he?
yeah.
Just swinging.
Lee
Williamson. Just going towards these Portuguese.
What
We
were,
were swinging.
who were you playing?
It was like a local.
Can't remember.
Maybe a third. I fuck knows.
It was a pre-season.
Pre-season
Right.
friendly.
But we trained like a bollocks off all week, haven't we? Proper good week. You know, it's like you pre-season, you put it all in, looking forward to that night out. And then, like we say, he got off, we'd all ran over, 20-man brawl, weren't there? And then he said after the game, you have to remember you're representing Blackburn Rovers and you're not going out. And I was like, what? So we were fuming, weren't we? He said, you can come for a meal with staff instead. And we're like, fuming here. So he's obviously took us that restaurant. Me and Paul Robinson ended up getting a good few bottles of bubbly and vodka and stuff, and we still had a good night. And then I took my opportunity to get on the mic and let a few lads have it, didn't I? But
Because the crack was you have to introduce yourself,
Yeah.
talk a bit about yourself for 30 seconds and then sing a song. But as soon as I've picked the mic up, bear in mind I'd only signed probably 2 weeks prior, he's just caned us for the full 40 seconds. Oh, because I was injured, shock. How the fuck's he past the medical? Sit down, big nose.
yeah,
You just sit down.
you know what
I
I
just went
was?
with it.
I was just gutted I went to fourth choice striker. You know what I mean? I'm fucking thinking, how the fuck's he jumped in front of me here? Even though I hadn't done anything so far, but
I soon
yeah.
slipped below you though, didn't it? Didn't take as long.
We had a message actually. If you were both still playing for Blackburn now, who would have scored first?
Oh, not me.
I don't think any of us to be. I think we'd still be.
Still be going down.
Honestly, you have a sticky spell at Blackburn as well.
Not as sticky as his, but it was. No, it was, to be fair. I didn't really play because Rhodesy and Gested were just fucking incredible. They both had 25 goals, and I didn't score in training, so you got no chance here. I think he used me just to come on and win a few headers last few minutes, but
You were good around the place, weren't you?
yeah, that's the one. I got that quite a lot of clubs.
Yeah, snap.
Yeah, we spoke before that about my 18-month shelf life, and I don't think I'd have a bad reference of most managers, but most of it was about that being nice around the place. So
Did you see that as yourself when you're at a club that you were part of your role, keeping everybody happy, keeping it fun around the place?
Yeah, you know, when I finish now and look at it and think to myself, I didn't really fall out of anyone. Do you know what I mean? And you see quite a lot of fights, don't we? You know, in training that, and I thought I had a few people wanting to beat me up for messing about. Not really, like I think of a couple. Leon Clark at Chef Wed, he played instead of me one game, and I walked past and touched a shot. You know, he's having a massage. You can imagine that in the away dressing room at Leicester away, quite tight, and I've whacked the shower. Fucking lashed him with water. He's picked me up, grabbed me by the neck. Fucking legs are dangling like this. I'm thinking, oh, you mardy bastard. Do you know what I mean? But just I was quite mischievous, but I actually got through my career being me. Do you know what I mean? That was me. Everyone will tell you I used to. But I get through it now and think to myself, could I concentrate a bit more? Maybe got a bit more out of it. Probably not really.
You still worked hard though, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of ability, but I damn sure I got as much as I could. I think Neil Warnock famously said about I chase a crisp packet around the pitch, so I'll take that.
That'll get you 3 moves.
Yeah.
Remember, it wasn't that my first Portugal trip was the second one.
Yeah.
When we went back to the villa, probably after another night out with Tommy.
Yeah, that was. That's
You've got Tom Kenny to thank for this.
Yeah,
by the way.
that's another one. I agreed to doing this. I had to tell my missus the actual truth this morning because I told her Matt Kilgallen kicked me in the head at near post in the training the day before. So that was after that. Obviously, we got back and Gaz had said, listen, if I find out any one of you goes out tonight, it'll be a 2 weeks fine. And I'm thinking, some of these lads on 25 grand a week here, they ain't risking 50 grand. So I went, come on, lads, you ain't going to find out, is he? We'll jump off that fence, get out. None of them were having it, obviously. Kenny. You asked Ben Marshall, you expect him to come out. You obviously spoke to him, he's a nutcase. I thought at least I'd get him latched on. So none of them had it. So they were playing FIFA. I'm thinking, what's fucking going on here? I'm away with lads and I want to play FIFA. So I was walking back to the room, seeing this fire extinguisher, just thought, listen, fuck it, we'll do it. So I pulled the door open to the common room. Thought it was water, obviously. This fucking big blue puff of powder flew out. Couldn't see any of them.
Like Smurfs?
Yeah, literally unbelievable. Tommy Spurs ran towards me, bit closer, shot him from about an inch away. Went under his eyelids. Did he go through the coffee table, didn't he? Load of glass everywhere. So I'm fucking laughing my head off, this extinguisher, man. Ran straight into a concrete pillar in the middle of the forecourt, on the deck, knocked out. I think next minute woke up, Doc's gluing my head together.
Doc was pissed.
Yeah, but he was pissed as well because he'd been on night out. So it was fucking, the glue was like this all over my head. I think Grant Hanley's actually got video. I've seen it, but I deleted it straight away. I couldn't look it out. I couldn't face it, to be fair.
I had a video with Tommy.
Yeah,
He's
I know, yeah, he's
smothered,
covered in
and
it.
he was raging with me.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I was just filming him and he was like, Chris, fuck off. Just see eyeballs.
you get yourself bothered with filming, don't you?
But I just remember for six weeks after it, I'd see that. Remember, he used to line the flip flops down the corridor after a Saturday game, and I'd just see blue powder on them. I was just fucking bought back.
Debris.
That cost me 1,200 quid as well, didn't it? For the fucking settee, curtains, I had to change a lot. So
Did you get a fine as well?
yeah, but oh no, Gaz was fine. So I went in the morning, knocked on, and said, Gaffer. He went, no, well done, Reg, last night. You were brilliant on the mic. Obviously, I'm in the lads. I went, no, I fucked up. He went, what? He said, I got extinguisher out. I said, about killed Tommy Spurs. He said, don't bother about him. But then after, when he told me, Shorty and Terry McPhillips were in the bathroom fucking laughing their heads off. But Gaz was dead serious because he had to be. And he just said, no, don't worry about it. Just paying Gary Hobson, the liaison. Can you remember him?
Bent nose oboe.
Yeah. So he cushioned it off for me. He just said, listen, just pay for the room and that'll be. That's another thing. I've told 1,200 quid now. Missus will be fuming, won't she? So, but yeah, what a trip, mate.
Have you had, having that kind of personality, who've you had in a dressing room who's just not having you whatsoever?
Like I said, I didn't really fall out with many people. I knew the ones.
There's some serious ones, isn't there, who just don't like it.
Yeah, I think for the time to be serious, I was serious, like game day and apart from that one when Clark and I wet Clarky. But other than that, I didn't really piss anyone on game day. I was quite serious when it come to that. Didn't really fall out with many. Must admit, got on with most lads.
Was there anybody who you thought, right, every morning I can have him like that? Whenever I want it, I can actually get this kid going.
Yeah, maybe like on Monday mornings, after a loss, because I was quite. I used to love Holloway. He had that skill of never talking about. If we'd had an hiding on a Saturday, he'd just talk about how many chickens he'd lost on his farm on the Sunday night, which just took away that we've been beat 5-0 somewhere, and he just changed that thinger. And I had that sort of. I was able to do that, change the mentality of the place. Do you know what I mean? So to go in and probably know how to change that mood was quite, I think, a skill that I enjoyed doing, on a Monday morning when because it's like it can be a deathly place after you've had a good hiding somewhere. But individually, I probably wouldn't know that many that I wound up purposely, but I enjoyed most of the dressing rooms I was in.
You've played under a few favourites of ours, haven't you?
Yeah.
McCarthy, Warnock, Holloway.
Yeah. All good gaffers, obviously proper blokes, do you know what I mean? The sort of the managers that they used to walk in and stand by your bed sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? I love that. I used to. The modern way now is the players are that close to the managers. It's not that sort of that scare factor. Like if Mick walked in, some of the lads would be in the gym. Like come March doing bench press with flip flops on. You'd run to the dressing room and get your trainers, that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I remember one year I moved the family down to Ipswich. Actually, I did a lot of travelling and left them at home, but they came down to Ipswich and we had a lovely pad on the marina, little balcony. So I took them down for Christmas one year. So I said to the kids, come on, Santa comes everywhere, even if you've got a balcony, he'll jump on here, no bother. So we put the carrots on, the milk, a glass of champagne, put kids' bed. I said to her, come on then, we've got to get rid of this now. So marina's there, I'm lobbing carrots in the marina, tipping the champagne off the balcony. All I've heard in this thick fucking Yorkshire accent, Reggie! And I've looked up because he used to live above me. We'll have fucking rats around here. So we had me. I was in the office Monday morning and it's fucking now. Can you imagine hearing his voice shout as I fucking shit myself?
I heard Santa last night, Dad.
I knew he was there, but I just shut my door and ran in as quick as I could. So it was fucking. But nah, he was like I say, proper bloke. I did my Achilles I was on loan from Blackburn. Did my Achilles and I'd been promised a 2-year deal. Literally thought that was it, season over, because I was out of contract at Blackburn. He rang me on the Monday morning, had the surgery and just said, we can't honour that contract, but I'll look after you. Kept my house on, got me fit, did all my rehab and honoured that contract in January. So, yeah, I'm really pleased for that, and I was glad that I got back and played for him for a good 6 months or another 18-month shelf life after that. So.
Well, I've not heard much about Dario. What was he like?
Yeah, he was a great manager and a great coach. I think picking me up from in the village I played for now, so it was 9 steps below the league that Crewe were in.
So how old were you when you got your first pro contract?
I got released at Leicester at 14, then went and did a few dodgy jobs, and then played at Quorn, and then Crewe signed me when I was 20, I think. Yeah, they come and watch me a couple of games.
That would have been quite rare for Crewe as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they like to bring players through, you know what I mean? They're technically brilliant, which was complete opposite to me. But the games they'd watch me, the one I knew, I had an absolute stinker, so I thought that was it, I'm screwed here. But on the Monday, they rang me up and I think they offered Crewe 50 grand, so offered Quorn 50 grand, so I was on my way up. So I think like 425 quid a week, I thought I'd hit the fucking lottery, do you know what I mean? I was absolutely buzzing, so.
Straight in the first thing?
No, I think a couple of weeks I went with the reserves and we did like a couple of I just remember the first couple of days, because you might not know so about Crewe, they do a lot of weights. Baz Beasley's name was, do a lot of proper split cleans and that sort of stuff, deadlifts. We talk about the technical ability, but they do a lot of strength work there. And I'm fucking lifting weights, falling over, and I'm thinking, this ain't no good for me. I've got Dean Ashton, Rob Hulse here, 18 years old, Dino was up here, brick shit house. I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to make this. But then just my rawness, because I played against blokes in this league, and I think I ended up scoring on my debut at Selhurst, and that was a great night. I think Dario had said, I think I broke on the halfway line, Kenny Lunt had put me through and dinked the goalie, and I slid on my knees and I got in at half time, and Dario sort of fucking whacked me around the back of the head. He went, celebrate in front of our fans next time. I said, I thought they fucking were. And then hit me again. I thought, fuck you, do you know what I mean? So it was, it was a great stint there.
We've heard a lot about his like emphasis on improving players individually. Did you get that one-to-one?
Massively. I think he always used to say to me about, I talk about my manner, about being happy and being quite buzzing playing. He always said to me that if I was scowling, then I won't have a good game. He knew that if I was having a laugh and having a joke, I used to love it on the pitch. If defenders used to get into me, I used to not talk. Some of them talk, don't they? Defenders trying to get into you. But I used to just fucking wind them up, do you know what I mean? That was my manner about being on the pitch. So
what kind of strategy are you going with?
Yeah, he just really helped me. Sometimes if I'd this day and age, everyone's trying to make people enter, but I just used to run past people, fucking having a bit of a giggle and that. Do you know what I mean? Wait for the tackle, next one. But you get your fair share, don't you? You take the hits with the roll. So it was, but yeah, I used to love that sort of side of the game.
What were it like, sort of obviously coming from Quorn into a professional dressing room? Were you a bit like, what the fuck's going off here?
Yeah, it was nuts. I think the only thing about Crew, obviously, is there's no pressure. We were never pressured to win games. It was all about development. Obviously, you look at the line of players they've had, Neil Lennon's, what they had, Dean Ashton. There's 100 that have come through there, and that was Dario's way. He never said to us about the pressure to win these games. We went up and down from Championship to League One, and he just let me go, really, just let me enjoy my time. And actually had a shoulder injury quite early, and I thought that'd be me, but they gave me another couple of year deal, and that really sort of gave me massive confidence. And that next year I got 25 goals. So.
Was that with Maynard? Or from
Maynard? That was probably my best year as a partnership. You don't really get them now. I know that you tend to play one up front with wingers, don't you? But we used to just have a weird, we used to do overs, flicks, and it always used to just come off. It was a brilliant year, and I really enjoyed that.
We speak a lot about the young lads at Crew, but Neil Cox was there with you. Granty?
Yeah, Tony Grant. Great. Really weird signings for Crew, like you just said. Dario got him in. I think at the time he must have wanted a bit of experience. We took us to Albufeira one pre-season, and Dario knew that with the young lads we'd want to get out. Albufeira was a bit of a party land, do you know what I mean? I had my stag do there. It was bleeding lovely. But,
smack on the bolt.
Yeah, exactly that. So I just told Dario, I'll meet him there. I'm on my stag do. No, but he'd said to Granty and Neil Cox about looking after us all, and we thought, okay, I'll get into Coxie, do you know what I mean? He'll let us have a few beers. So we had us on the beach at 8 o'clock every morning doing a 5k run. So we'd set off. 2 minutes after, I've turned round and Coxie and Granty are face down in the sand. I'm thinking, if Dario turns around and sees this, we're fucked. So them pair were let to look after us, and we ended up looking after them, to be honest.
Oh, so you did go out?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
When that year when you and Nicky Maynard are just on fire, when you've got a partnership like that, I think, 44 goals between you both, are you mates, good mates off the field as well, or is it just training?
Yeah, we were. I think Nicky won't mind me saying he was enjoying the other side of the game a little bit as well. He was a bit more, he weren't big time, but he loved that. He was a young lad. I think he'd only been 18, 19. So, and I wasn't living in Crewe, so I was going back home, like we said, driving up and down. But we still speak to each other now. We still call each other partner, which is quite good.
It's a bit creepy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kill that.
It's
Howdy, partner. Have you got him in your phone as partner?
Howdy.
Yeah,
partner.
So, still got a good relationship with him.
Who got the better move out of you two?
Fucking, he got a bit more money, I think. He had a couple of promotions without playing. Did he go Cardiff and then they got promoted? Then he went West Ham and got promoted as well, didn't he? So I don't think he played a few games in the Premier League, didn't he? But I think between us, we did all right. Do you know what I mean? Most of my days were in the Championship, which I loved. That was me, that nitty gritty side of it. Do you know what I mean? I loved that. But we both did okay out of it.
We spoke about Charlie Austin, didn't we? Because him and Billy Painter one season, they were exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I think Billy's stock was probably higher than Austin's at the time, but Austin's obviously gone on to...
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we had Neil Saunders used to come in. Dean Saunders Neil Saunders, fucking hell, don't get rid of that. Dean Saunders used to come in and do a coaching session with us because he knew Dario. And he said, if I ever get hold of a team, I'll take you to wherever I go. Because he did just put a few waves of attack together. Me and him started doing things and he was like, fuck me, do you know what I mean? And then after that session, I was in the car. I had a red Golf at the time, and it didn't reverse. It was fucking knackered. I had 150k on it. Can you imagine? I was driving from here to fucking Quorn every day for fucking 3 years.
How'd you park?
So this was the problem. So I used to park in a bay where I had to go out front ways. But then I fucked up, so I told a couple of lads, so they used to block me in. So I used to have to push it, turn the wheel, push it again, turn the wheel. So it took me 20 minutes to get out of space. So Dean Saunders in his car on the phone, obviously lining my next move up. And he's gone, I can't sign this cunt. He's my car don't reverse. He's out the window, what are you doing? I said, my car don't reverse. Can you imagine? So he's fucking laughing his head off. So
I can't imagine it could pass an MOT if it can't.
I get when I saw the chart and I give it to my brother. I didn't tell him. But
You know, during that season, during that season, you had that game against United as well, and you scored in the League Cup, and straight after that, you know, the buzz builds, doesn't it? Especially when it's a lower team against United, you have a good game. Straight after that game, are you feeling there's a move coming?
Yeah, it sort of kicked up a bit from that point. I think we played Wigan after as well. Wigan might have been around before the round. We had 2 good games in the Cup, and me and Nicky were scoring in the league as well at the time. I had about 50 or 60 come up from around here on a bus as well. And bearing in mind, I was still playing Sunday football when I was at Quorn, so a lot of them all came across, and yeah, that was just a dream for me. Do you know what I mean? Playing in that game, I say a dream. It wasn't. I felt like I was in it for the right reasons. I wasn't like. I always just wanted to talk about that rawness. I just wanted to keep getting it better, keep improving. I used to stand next to the players and think that underdog mentality that I kept throughout my whole career stood me well. Do you know what I mean? Because I just thought to myself, I'm gonna have a go at these like here. Do you know what I mean? I've been playing against blokes for years. Had some good kickings off non-league players. These ain't gonna scare me. So
do you think that the route that you took as well, like working before getting into football, give you that hunger?
Massive. I honestly say now, my best 2 years in football were to Cheltenham, and a lot of the lads are just sort of playing for the mortgages. Do you know what I mean? And I used to say to them, "What's one of them fuckers?" Do you know what I mean? No, I didn't. But I just used to say to them, "Listen, I love that. There's lads in like League 1, League 2 on 500 quid. You know what I mean? People sweep up on building sites for that. Do you know what I mean? And the professional footballers. But that I used to love that feeling of. I used to think the bigger the club, the bigger the whoppers were. You know, some of the clubs, like we talk about Blackburn, some of the lads on 25 grand a week, didn't speak a word to them off the pitch. Just fucking.
I think they'd cleaned a lot of them out before.
That was a big part of there. I remember. I know a lot. I don't want to name drop too much. But we had like Leon Best and Dixon Atuhu. We spoke about Chris Neville being the best fitness coach I ever had. I don't know if he was probably one of yours. And they're on the phones in activation, doing like buying trainers. You know, like they used to do. Oh, I just got this for £1,000, and I used to thought, have some fucking respect. Do you know what I mean? And then you go down to sort of League 2, and they're just proper blokes. Do you know what I mean? Earning a living, which I love that. So that's a bit of me.
They're £2 million for you, Charlton.
Yeah.
I bet Daddy all got a fair chunk there then, didn't he?
Yeah. To be fair, that was it was a long hauled out really, that, because in the March, you know, we said after the Man U game, it all kicked up a bit. So I started getting managers back in the day. It was this could be a bit dodgy to be fair. I had Gareth Southgate come to my house in March. He was manager at Middlesbrough at the time. So I was like, okay, now Middlesbrough, here we go. He promised me $7,000 a week for about a 5-year deal. He said, we've got to get rid of Viduka first. I'm thinking, I can't fucking replace that cunt. I mean, no, what? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, now. So I was at my advisor's house, which is just round the corner. He's the chairman at Corns, Stu Turner. So I said, fuck it, all I've got to do now is finish the season well, and then I'll get this move to Finger. They started talking to me about places to live up there. Spoke to the missus, she's like, it'd be sound that, wouldn't it? We're going to have a go up there, because it looked like a great club at the time. So finished the season, broke my toe just after, actually. Fucking about an hotel again, that's another story. But
we'll get on to that.
Yeah, and then about a week after the season finished, this agent rang me, fucking Scouse agent, never spoke to me in my life. He said, I've got a manager that wants to speak to you. So the Quorn chairman said, what do you reckon? He said, well, we've promised Gareth now. He said, well, it'll do no harm, will it? So we jumped on a train, got off at St Pancras, walked in Landmark Hotel in London, and Alan Pardew sat there. And I was like, fucking hell, here we go. So he said, whatever they've offered you, we'll give you double. So I weren't interested in the money, but I said, gives that contract here and now.
Fuck you, Gareth.
Yeah. So it was. Alan had started talking about how many crosses he'd get for me. I said, I don't bother, gives that pound. So I'd signed that, rang the missus at St Pancras. I said, give her fucking 100 grand signing on as well, love. She's like, dude. I mean, it was, it was fucking brilliant, really. Getting back on that train, I'll never forget it. And I think Quorn actually got about 500 grand out of that. He's got £500,000 for a non-league
Sell
club.
on.
Yeah, so that was great. And then obviously seeing Gareth about 2 years ago when I was at Burton, because he's obviously the England manager now, and he had to give me a dodgy look, and I said, I use your car parking space every now and again, and all. So it was
Can't reverse out of it.
so I said, is that my England cap out the window? Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. So yeah, good times, mate.
So we're not apprehensive about moving to London at all, or?
Well, that's the only other thing. You know, we talked about that, no pressure at Crewe, then going there, and they'd just been relegated from the Premier League, so they had a few quid and a few big hitters. Another one had to replace. Darren Bent went that year to Tottenham. I'm thinking, fuck me. Viduka, Darren Bent, do you know what I mean? I've just come from Crewe here, so yeah. So I got injured actually pre-season, which was a bit of a nightmare. I don't think it went down well with Pards, but did okay. Scored about 7 or 8. I think we lost Andy Reid in the 1st January, which really killed us because he was a good player and we were going well then. After that season, we talked about, I used to mess about a bit. Pards had grabbed me and said, listen, you're going to have to fucking calm down a bit. You have to start concentrating on your football a bit. He'd actually took me to a reserve game after the season. Who plays in them fuckers? Do you know what I mean? About a day after the season. I think it was just a bit of a telling off. And I was like, no probs. So I went away in the summer, got myself really fit for it. I'm going to get my head down now and concentrate. So we went pre-season to Cadiz, big golf complex. I'm thinking, come on, let's train properly, keep your head down. Even if he says night out, just looking, you know what I mean? Look after yourself. So the day before the night out, we had a Ryder Cup players v staff. So it was, I was in the last but one group. We had Rob Elliott was my partner, you know, the keeper was at Watford. And the last group was Pardew, Nicky Weaver, Ben Thatcher and Woodman, you know, the goalie. You had him on as well, ain't you? Top man there. So we got in the last but one group and found out the scores were all level. So I'm fucking giddy. Let's find out how they're getting on. So Pards and Weaves had drove off, Woody and Thatcher drove off. I said to Rob Elliott, get in the buggy, we'll go down, find out. It was dead mountainous, this course. So I said, Rob, get in, we'll go and find out. They've hit the drive. I was like, how are you getting on? They told the scores we're all level, so we're getting excited. I've whipped the buggy around. It's literally fucking toppled down this mountain. Doof, 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 doof. I've ended up on top of Rob Elliott. He's broke his collarbone. Imagine I've told Pardew I'm going to fucking calm myself down. He's walked past me pushing his trolley, just gone like that. I'm on the side of the fairway like that.
What, has he seen you at the bottom?
He's seen me at the bottom of this hill, fucking in bits like that. Buggy's on top of me and Rob Elliott. Rob Elliott's screaming his head off. His collarbone's up here. And that was fucking tough going, that, do you know what I mean? That's another 1,200 quid it cost me for the buggy. Just lads just in bits, mate. It was always me, mate. It always happened to me. I don't know what's fucking...
How did the Ryder Cup go?
I think we won. Yeah, it was buzzing, mate.
Worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah, so... But that, his face, mate, he just going like that, fuck me.
You know, when you've got in Charlton then, because like we had Malcolm Christie on, who similar journey where he's ended up... Like Charlton have just been relegated from the Premier League. A lot of Premier League players there. And he was... He didn't know how to act, like trying to be on a level with these Premier League players.
Yeah, that's a tough.
So did you not get that though? The fact that you're being told stop messing about.
Yeah, it was going into especially into Charlton dressing, like we just spoke about Andy Reid. I think what settled me really quick. I'd just gone for my medical, and I put my stuff in the changing room, and I walked in, smell of the place up. So I looked over. I had a brand new Mulberry wash bag, you know, like you do in the day. You want a nice wash bag, didn't you? I had a fucking Sondico on when I was at Quorn, but I bought a nice Mulberry one, tan leather, and I fucking smell it. I was like, what's going off here? And I've looked over and there was a big curly shit on it. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on? Is that mine? So I've opened it, it's got me toothbrush in. I'm thinking, you can't. So then I've gone out to jog and Ben Thatcher's just giggling to himself. I was like, what's up with this cunt here? I never met him, do you know what I mean? So when we found out it was him, and then I just thought, is this the sort of stuff that goes on? I thought, this is a bit of me, this is, do you know what I mean? So that just settled me right in, to be fair. And
you came back, so a shit on your wash bag, well, at the turning point.
Yeah, that was it. I just thought I'd be all right here, mate. This is a bit of me, it's a bit of banter, do you know what I mean? You say they're getting back, I wasn't there, mate. He's a fucking animal, do you know what I mean? And I think that pre-season, we went Marbella and we went, Sinatra's on the marina, and I've looked over, and he was the only one that weren't allowed to go out on his own. He had to stand next to Pards all night. So Chris Suolemu walked up to the bar, Snatcher's just got his old bill out, started pissing up his jeans. I'm just like, what the fuck's going off here? Do you know what I mean? Big puddle of piss around him, and I'm like, this geezer's different, mate. I ain't messing about with him.
So he had to be chaperoned by...
Yeah, he had to stay next to Pars. Apparently, Scott Carson did it the year before. They weren't allowed to leave his side all night. We can do what we want, but them two have got to stay next to Gaffer. So,
and just imagine one of them Leeds, you put on toddlers so you don't lose them in a crowd.
Tells you all you need to know. Yeah. So,
was he good, Bardew?
Oh, brilliant, mate. To be fair, like we used to think, when you used to go in a hotel, all in your trackies, like all football looking well, you'd think everyone would be staring at you, but the fucking Gaffer would walk in, looks $1 million, then he suit, fucking white. It was just, they called him chocolate, didn't they? He used to lick himself and stuff. But I never forget, we used to get to games Saturday and he'd be like, lads, turn that fucking music down. I got a headache. He'd been out on the Friday. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, we got a fucking football game here. Do you know what I mean? He's more bothered about his headache. But yeah, I got on well with him. I think one other thing that happened with him, when I was at Charlton, I'd only got 18 months into that contract and he got sacked. Sheffield United beat us on a Tuesday night, quite heavily to be fair. And on that Tuesday night, on the Wednesday night, I had Mark Hudson round having a meal with his missus. I didn't really have many. I didn't really get close to a lot of the lads down. We say about the size of the club. I didn't really get close to them, but we were having a meal and the chief exec had rang me and said, we've sacked Alan. Derby have come in for you. I was like, right. I said, I don't think I'm ready to leave yet. I feel like, he went, no, Derby have come in for you. We owe Alan £1 million. You're gonna have to take it. So I signed for them, and I think they paid him off with that money. Do you know what I mean? So but I ended up getting home, so it was out of that pressure cooker into another one. So, but it all worked out all right, to be fair.
You never parked in Jerome Thomas's space, did you?
Fucking hell, mate. Him. So he battered me my first day. He made me. I say Thatch made me feel at home. He did as well. So I'd signed for.
But they don't shit on you.
Fucking hell. So we said I'd signed. Pards had come for me quite quickly after the season because they wanted. I'd done all right in the end of that season and quite. Normally they wait till June till you've been on holiday, then the clubs start coming for you. But they were trying to get hold of me, which was quite nice to know. So I'd signed for mid-May. It was mid-May. So then I'd gone to Marbella, looked in my bank at end of the month. I had no money in there because I said we won 425 quid a week. I was paying my mortgage when I had one. But then we got to end of the month. I looked in my bank, I had 20 grand. I'm thinking, fuck me, I've only had 2 weeks' wages here. So I went straight to Audi, bought a black A3 leather. got rid of my red Golf, give that my brother. It can reverse. That was the first thing I tried and I got the shape. So I thought you said
I went straight to Aldi.
No, not that.
Love, fill them trolleys.
Hey, good shop, isn't it?
Grill tonight, love.
I do like Aldi. It's a good shop, isn't it? But so I've pulled in so I got back from Marbella. This brand new Audi, took Mrs. and showroom, said we'll have that black one there. First day I drove in, walked into Charlton car park. Jerome went, you can't have that here. I said, I've just bought you, cunt. It's got 50 mile on it. Do you know what I mean? He goes, nah. Because he's got his Bentley, obviously, with his leather roof. I've heard all them stories, haven't we? So I changed it 6 months later and got an M6 and felt a bit more at home, do you know what I mean? Big time cunts. So, I didn't give my brother that Audi, I sold that for do you know what I mean?
One of my favourite stories was when Woody was on about hitting the same woman twice. Were you there then or not?
No, but I have heard the story. Fucking.
Just tell us it's true, man.
Woody's and it's fucking great, mate. Them sort of, that staff. I used to think of Woody as a bit of a go-between between the players, but he was so close with Pards. You didn't have to be careful. And I really love working with Woody. You can imagine Woody and Weeze together, can't you? Fucking, honestly, it was great times, mate.
Did it help you that somebody like Weaves was down there with you?
Massively. I think...
another lunatic?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, fuck me, I made a few cups of tea, do you know what I mean? I used to rub his back on away games. He was like, well, I was one of them, mate. I used to think, what's going on here? Is this the rules of a fucking on an away day? But some of it, he's told a few stories about his Dublin. He's one where he went missing for 48 hours.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, I was the one that took him home. He didn't mention that I was the lad, because obviously he was at Wednesday at the time, wasn't he? But the state of him, because we got quite pally with him and his wife, and I've had to carry him home from Beckenham a few times down in Charlton. He's a big lad, isn't he?
We're doing a live show in Dublin, and the amount of people that have messaged saying, "Just get Nicky Weaver on,"
mate,
from that story when he couldn't stand.
He must have walked down every street in Dublin, or fucking zigzag down every street. Do you know what I mean? He was honestly, mate, some. But meeting people like him and Thatch. Just different blokes than what I've been with. Do you know what I mean? At Crew, completely different characters that you think to yourself, fuck me.
I'm trying to think of the level of lunatic you've got to be to have to stand next to your manager on a night out.
yeah.
Like,
Can you imagine?
where's the level?
Is he a good player, Thatcher, or were he a little bit like you, with he's just great round the place?
He was a good player and he had some fucking great clubs.
Were he worth the hassle?
Yeah, I think he was. I think he told us about, remember when he elbowed Mendes?
Yeah.
He said about that. He told us a story about his missus just looked at him when he walked in the door like, what have you done? Do you know what I mean? He had that like switch, which was brilliant. Like he was brother-in-law with Luke Young, don't know if you know, but they were at Charlton at the same time. They used to just fucking straight leg each other in training all the time. That competitive edge, but that's probably why it got them where they both got. Do you know what I mean? Even in training, they were hammering each other. So I still get a text off him now, every now and again. Thatcher, how are you, bold bastard? You know, stuff like that, just bringing you back down to earth.
Did Pardew used to play on? You know, he was saying he's chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you remember his
Massive.
dance when he was a Palace manager, Palace or West Ham manager?
Yeah, he knew the game, do you know what I mean? When I was getting back from injury, we played a reserve game at the training ground, and I don't think Weaves must have played as well. So the girls had come down, like, Carly said, he loves it, do you know what I mean? He's all over it. He's like, all right, girls, do you know what I mean? That's him.
What, he's chatting your missus up?
I don't know, I think she was chatting him up. Do you know what I mean? But, but he knew, do you know what I mean? He knew he looked well, like.
I was Paul Jewell when you arrived.
Yeah, he was good. So obviously moving there, he basically walked me around the Derby. You've been Derby training, fucking brilliant, mate. He walked me around, arm around my shoulder, said, "You'll love it here, son." I think I was his sort of player as well. That crew bit with Maynard, he wanted me and Maynard, to be fair. I remember him saying. In the last game he watched me, I got hat-trick at Chesterfield, and he said, how you were that night, just being raw, sprinting about, I was this type of player. And he put his arm around us, walked us around, he just said, "You'll be fucking fine here, we just got to get rid of a load of the idiots." And I was thinking, all right, sound. Got sacked 2 weeks later, didn't he? And I've just signed a 3-year deal thinking, what the fuck? And then, obviously, Clough came in.
Who was he trying to get out?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of the era.
Yeah. He said, remember Claude Davis? He was at Preston, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. He used to come every day on his Harley Davidson. You weren't allowed to ride motorbikes, were you? You know, as a footballer.
Yeah.
Did you know that, in short? He used to come on his big old brrr. So he didn't suffer fools then. A lot of lads on big money then as well at Derby as well.
So that'll be the team that got relegated with like 11 points.
Yeah, so that was the year. Again, I always used to go to the clubs after they'd been relegated when a few quid about, do you know what I mean? But fucking, do you know what I mean? It was good timing. And I'd literally, I talk about lads on a few quid. I'd walked in on a Sunday, I think I'd signed, and it was snowing. I'm thinking, what the fuck do they want me to come into? So all it was just have a bit of a run about. There were a load of young lads in, and Savage was in because he was having a bit of a bad time at the minute. I don't think Julie was using him. And I'd fucking sat down on the toilet, bucket walked straight over my head. I was on my phone, fully closed. He said, "That's what happens here." I was like, "Oh, Sam," just took that as a first day. I was like, "The lads ain't even in," do you know what I mean? He's fucking, no one's seen it, you idiot. Do you know what I mean? What am I supposed to tell everyone now?
You idiots.
So then we trained. It was me, about 5 or 6 of the young lads, and Sav. Obviously, Sav's fucking dicking about because he's not really in the plans. We've all been there, haven't we? So on the lads are off on the Monday. So Jules' assistant was Shakespeare. I don't know if I can't remember his
Craig.
Yeah, it might. I don't know if it's him, but I can't remember his first name.
William.
Now. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So he's popped his head round the shower. I said, "Reggie, you'll be off Monday. Sav, you'll be in." He's like, "Oh, keep putting that 25 in though, mate." And I thought, "Fuck it, now." Do you know what I mean? That's how Derby was at the time. It was a bit poisonous. Do you know what I mean? They were trying to get rid of these big earners, and then Clough coming in. He had the remit of getting rid of lads. Do you know what I mean? On the money. So
Was Bywater there?
oh yeah, fuck that. Yeah, he's a good lad. Fuck me.
What you got on Bywater?
Well, so he said to me, I sat next to him, and he said to me, first day,
He just comes with a noise.
first day of pre-season, I said, "You all right?" He said, "Yeah." He said, what are you doing after training like? He said, "Mate, listen to this." He said, "I've left me door half ajar, front door. I've said all the lights off, told the missus, all I want is you bent over the bed. Don't fucking turn around if I come in this house." He wants her to pretend I'm a burglar and straight in and fucking look after training. I'm like, I've only just met this lad, do you know what I mean? He was fucking brilliant, mate. Yeah, great value.
Pretend I'm a burglar.
Yeah. Oh, I asked the missus if we could do it. She was like, "Get fuck you sick git." Do you know what I mean? Top man, mate. And he said about one way, he lived in a lovely area, and his neighbours went away on holiday one year, but left the kids, they were like 15, 16 year old. So he'd gone round once and knocked on the door. I said, listen, turn the music down because the kids are in bed. He was like, all right. So about an hour later, he's gone off for a bit. Then it went up loud again. So he said he's put all his full gear, mate, he used to love a balaclava and that, put all his gear on, went round the back gate, bolt croppers out, cutting a hole in the fence. He just stood at the double doors of their house, staring through the window like that. Can you imagine the kids looking? He turned the fucking music off, I tell you. It was fucking brilliant, mate.
So he used to love a balaclava.
Yeah, he had all the gear, mate, honestly. You won't mess about with him, I'm telling you.
Quick breaking play, gents. We don't do it often, but when we do, it's a worthy message. Supporting the show this week, Nita Training Group.
North East based.
They are North East based, but they don't just work North East, work nationwide. They're keeping the cogs of the country turning. Because if you work on a construction site, engineering, you need all your right tickets, your certification to prove that you're competent. You can't just rock up, can you?
And these run the courses to get your ticket?
Yes. Yeah. And you know, like, maybe if you want a change.
After COVID, especially, a lot of people looking for a new vocation.
Yeah.
And this is perfect. This is a perfect escape.
Well, they're helping fill the skill gap, especially on the massive development T-Works at the minute. And not just if you're looking for a new vocation, but if you're already in a trade, but you need to update your
Sharpen your tools.
Sharpen your tools, indeed.
Like it, good terminology.
Yeah, 6,000 adults the training every year.
So do you know from the 6,000?
Yeah.
What sort of courses do they do for them?
I've got a comprehensive list here. You ready? Gas. You know all about that, John.
Yes.
All eyes on John.
Yes. Domestic and commercial, electrical, 18th edition, Comp X. I don't know. I'm not sure what all this means. Like EV car charge, inspection and testing. But if you're in the trades, then you know what it's about.
It might be a little bit foreign to us, but
yeah, welding, coding and 6G, scaffolding.
One question. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
What's rigging?
Rigging. Oh, I'm glad you asked that. Rigging and lifting. They do that because I'm glad you've gone on that diet, John. Because if you hadn't, I'm going to send Chris on the course, get you on stage for the next live show.
I could have done with a professional rigger to get me out of the bath a month ago, but now I'm a new man.
Wide range of ages as well.
So if you just left school?
School leavers, over 200
College.
school leavers, apprenticeships.
So even if you've been doing your trade for 30, 40 years, you still need these tickets, don't you, to get on your sites?
And not only that as well, they provide funding for if you're looking to go into that new vocation as well. There's funding provided from the governments as well to get you into that new vocation. And if you're a company boss and looking at training up your employees, perfect. Go on, ask me, Chris. You know you want to.
Have we got an offer?
Have we got an offer? We've always got an offer. We've got a Cosh code because if you use the code COSH1, they'll offer you a bloody good quote. They've got a wide range of courses, all different prices, but you'll get a bloody good discount.
They'll sort you out with
that.
that. They'll look after you.
Yeah, all you've got to do is you can email info@nita.co.uk or go to the website www.nita.co.uk.
Are we spelling Nita, Chris?
NETA. Yeah. So that's nita.co.uk or info@nita.co.uk. Use that code COSH1 and get a bloody good discount. I might try and go and train myself.
Change is as good as a rest.
Yeah.
Good one, that. Did you get any of his trips? Cloughie's?
Yeah, did, mate. Did I? Yeah, we went to Marbella. I think we did Abu Dhabi in November.
This with Derby?
Yeah, and then Burton. We had a couple with Burton as well, which it's unbelievable for the squad. Do you know what I mean?
It is, isn't it?
We got beat one week we were at home against Wolves, got beat 4-0. And I think they turned around and said, make sure none of you turn up sober tomorrow at the airport. Do you know what I mean? And it was just that way of, again, changing the mentality of the squad, and there was no real demands on these trips. Do you know what I mean? You had to be there at breakfast, evening meals. He just wanted that together and that bonding, and he'd say openly, because the young lads, you know, like they want to go down the beach and play football. He'd make sure they stayed with us playing cards all day, having a few beers.
Play football.
Yeah, they do, don't they? They want to go down there, and but it was just to
improve the self.
They're away on with a football team.
Yeah.
Little
I know,
bastards.
I know. What
the
do they
little
wanna do?
bastards want to go and play football on beat.
Exactly. So yeah, he made them stay with us and proper bonding sessions. Do you know what I mean? Like old school bonding sessions, which were brilliant, mate.
Because I think Davo might have talked. Did they sign Tom Carroll? I think it was Tom Carroll.
Yeah,
He didn't drink.
Yeah, he didn't play. Yeah, that might have been an issue. Do you know what I mean?
He didn't play.
So we are. I remember one time we got to Brentford, having a bit of a bad run, to be fair, and we got down to Brentford away. We used to leave at weird, so we used to train at 3 o'clock on a Friday. No, this was a Tuesday night. So we train at 5 o'clock on a Monday at St George's, let the traffic go, and then we get down to London about 9 o'clock. So we're all having his soup and sandwiches before bed. I think Marvin Sordell went to get up and he went, whoa, sit down. He said, do you want a beer or a wine? And we're like, fucking, here we go. Do you know what I mean? So we all ended up having a few beers and a few wines. I think Bywater will tell you he had about 6 pints and raft up. It was fucking number. So Ben Turner at the time, I don't know if you know, he was having a bit of trouble with he was struggling with a racist thing. It was through one of the players at Brentford. So playing against Brentford was quite a touchy subject. We were all so, because it come out that it didn't happen, do you know what I mean? So we'd had a few beers and we ended up getting a result. And then you just think to yourself that, to be in a bad run and to like let lads have a beer, and the night before, it just took the pressure off. Went into that game, felt like the weight off the shoulders, do you know what I mean? Because you could have gone into that game, Brentford away. It's not a nice place to go. They batty off the pitch most of the time, don't they? But we got a good result, and I sort of, and if you look into his dad's stories, that's the sort of stuff he used to do, innit? So it brings you together in a different way, and I understand that now. Did
you enjoy it at Sheffield Wednesday? Because it must, was it 4 consecutive loans you had? Was it 3, 4?
Yeah, I think Brian Laws took me initially, and then I went back with Brian Laws, and then Alan Irvine took me, I think with
many players have gone on loan to the same club 4 times and not signed permanently.
I think Wednesday, like, I go back now and, you know, like that working class, like, it's that sort of club, everyone mucking in. That was my sort of environment. I loved that. And I think a couple of questions I've seen on there were Wednesday fans saying he'd work his balls off, you know. I think that's the minimum, innit? That's all you can ask from a fan, innit? Like I say, about ability. And that's why I think I got on well with them, because I fucking chucked me lot in every single game, do you know what I mean? I think back there was only one time where I might have dodged it a bit. We had Newcastle at home. It was the 21st of December, and I thought I'm on 4 bookings here. Do you know what I mean? Boxing Day's coming up. I'm at loan at Derby, so that Luis Enrique went past me that fast, couldn't play for Newcastle at left back. So I give him 5 years, and a Jonah loan moved him into the fucking advertising board, didn't I? So I got a booking. So I got in at the end of the whistle, and the gaffer went, he said, Reg, that's you. I said, what do you mean? He went, that's 5 bookings, you done? I was like, oh, you're fucking joking. So I thought, I'm not back at Derby till the 1st of Jan. So I get about 10 days off here. Next day, Cloughie's on the phone. See you at training tomorrow, son? I'm like, fucking hell, I might as well say it Chef Wed, ain't I?
We had a lot of Wednesday fans saying you're a bright spark in a bad time. And a few other lads from that same team, I think maybe Mickey Gray, said it was a bit of a bad...
toxic environment.
Bad changing room.
Yeah, I think Mickey was a great character in there. Do you know what I mean? He was someone I sort of... talk about them out like Thatcher and the old lads, Andy Reid. Mickey had obviously been there and done it, and he was in it for the right reasons as well. But yeah, there were a few young lads again. I think that's when it started creeping in, you know, the sort of environment changed. And I think at teams like Sheffield Wednesday get found out, do you know what I mean? If you're not all in, the fans won't have it. Do you know what I mean? That's like we just said, I think that's the minimum you can ask to work your balls off, and I try to do that at most clubs.
I always wonder why Alan didn't do well at Wednesday. Alan Irvine.
He's a great coach, isn't he?
Yeah.
Him and Rob Kelly, I thought, was superb, mate. When I actually think about it, we didn't have a bad side either. When Alan took over, he changed a few and got a few out. But yeah, maybe there wasn't a lot of investment going on with him. Maybe if he'd had a bit more, it could have made it work. But I actually thought he was a great coach, you must admit.
Didn't help. Was it Clark he broke his toe?
Yeah, in that
last game.
Idiot. That was a massive game, that, weren't it? I remember leading up to that, we'd played, there was a Sheffield derby, and we needed to win that, and I think they beat us. And even being on loan, we spoke about being on loan, I used to, Chef Wednesday, I felt like I was one of their players, do you know what I mean? And I was on my haunches after the game, and Chris Morgan's come up to me and grabbed me by the hair, get up you're only on loan. And I thought, yeah, that's what people might think, do you know what I mean? But it hurt me quite a lot. And going into that Palace game, we had to beat them, I think, to stay up. And Palace had to win, stay up. It was a massive game. I'll never forget it. And I think I missed a one-on-one. And then Darren Ambrose scored a goal and we lost. And that really affected me, that game, going into that summer. Even being on loan, I spoke to a lot of the Wednesday fans. And that was probably one of the summers I really regretted, do you know what I mean? Because I was desperate to keep them up, because I knew that would probably be me there. So
the move to Blackpool, how did that come about?
It was a weird one. I think, tell you now I know about it. I was playing for Derby reserves, all, you know, when you're in the shadow squad, shall we say, through pre-season, you know you're not going to play, don't you? So the first team would play the main game on the Tuesday, and then the Joeys would play on the Wednesday, and I was in that squad. But I always trained properly, always played properly, because I always thought my next opportunity will come. So we played fucking Buxton away or something in Derby, and Dario had said to Ian Holloway, if you want someone to play on your left-hand side, go and have a look at Reg. So he'd come to, I didn't know this at the time, he'd come to this fucking ground in Derby, had half a decent game. And then come the first game of the season, like I said, Clough put the team sheet up on the day. So I'd been out on the fucking, straight after that game, I went out, walked in, think I won't be involved Saturday. I'm up front on my own, I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, Sav's in the corner laughing his head off. Thinking, he ain't played with us all pre-season, but now I'm in. So I'm thinking, what's cracking off here? We played Cardiff at home and I did all right. Set the goal up and did really well. Thought to myself, hey, babe, I'll be all right here at Derby. And on the Sunday, an agent rang me and just said, listen, Blackburn want to take you. Blackpool want to take you. And I was like, what? And I said, you got no chance. I've played for Derby. He goes, no, they're fucking sending you. I was like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? So then I'm driving up to bleeding Blackpool, up the M6. I'm thinking, this is fucking miles away here. Don't know about this. Do you know what I mean? And I spoke to Neil Warnock, who's at QPR, and he'd said, listen, we've heard from Derby as well that you're allowed to come out on loan. And he said, listen, we'll give you a couple of grand a win. And they were the top team in the championship then. They were going to get promoted. They'd started well. So I was like, fucking hell, I've got to weigh this up here. So I'm sat in the car park at Blackpool, fucking looking at all these Endus and Stag dudes walking past me, thinking, fuck me, what's going on here? So I had to make a mind. This might be my only chance to play in the Premier League, or I'll go down to London, play in the Championship. There's a good chance I'll get promoted. You think of the team that QPR had, Clint Hills, all them lot, the fucking serious lads, do you know what I mean, that know how to do it, do you know what I mean? So I ended up signing at Blackpool and thinking, fuck it, we'll have a crack at it, do you know what I mean? So I walked up, signed the papers at the ground, the gaffer weren't there. I went up in my pinstripe Prada suit as you did back in the day. You know, now they turn up in hats and all sorts, don't they? I think, look at this cunt here.
I'll be honest with you, mate, I never turned up to sign for a club in a pinstripe Prada suit.
So I thought, here we go. So I walked in, Ollie weren't there, thinking, so I just signed these papers, went down to Blackpool training ground into this fucking porter cab, and I'm fucking scared of getting holes in my suit here. You know, and I walked in, and Ollie just shouted, he looks the part, lads, do you know what I mean? I felt like a fucking idiot, do you know what I mean? So then they stuck me in the Holiday Inn on the front, and I'm like sat there. I went cinema on my own, watched the film, went back, had a fucking pasta. About 10 at night, all I hear is fucking bang, bang, bang. Like again, these ending Stag dudes are up and down my corridor. Like, I thought, should I go and get joined in here? What? Is it a good chance I'll make my Premier League debut tomorrow? Because I was in the squad, you know, at the training. So I thought, should I tell them to shut up? So I left them to it, ringing the missus, said, babe, this is fucking nuts here, do you know what I mean? But then played the next day and scored on my debut. I just thought, going from Derby playing the week before to being in Blackpool to scoring on your Premier League debut, just a fucking whirlwind. Do you know what I mean?
What was the score in that game? I remember it.
We drew with Fulham, they scored late. I set the first goal up and then... and scored the second, so I was absolutely buzzing. And Holloway says about it being one of the best team goals. We literally cut for Brett almost scored a cracking goal. So that after that game, obviously I was fucking buzzing, thinking, oh my God, I can't believe it. Can't wait to fucking stick it up them lot up Derby. And then Steve Thompson, Holloway's assistant, goes, you got your passport? I was like, why? Because we're going to Lithuania now. I was like, what? He says, yeah, it's international duty and the club sponsors are over there. I'm like, I ain't got my passport. I had to drive back to Finger, go there, and it was just like the weirdest like time, do you know what I mean? But fucking brilliant, mate.
What was it about Holloway that got the best out of yourself, Brett, other lads who probably
like a squad of misfits?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Just he was like he used to give us like a license. So we played like a free up front, and he'd go mad if I stayed on one side for more than 5 minutes. He'd want me over there, and we'd all rotate and fill in. And like I say, if we had a bad result, there was once we got beat at Fulham. I'll never forget it, about 4 or 5. And he went, lads, you think you've had a bad weekend? Both his daughters were born deaf, and he said I fucking took one of them out for a driving lesson Sunday. She's pulled out on a junction, fucking Arctic lorry coming towards them. I'm screaming at her, and obviously forgot she's deaf. And she's going, fucking stop, do you know what I mean? And she's pulling out. And I just thought he just had this amazing like way of forgetting the game. And then we just crack on, like, see, out of training. Do you know what I mean? It was fucking... he was just brilliant. And we spoke about his farm. He'd talk about how many chickens he'd lost at the weekend. And it was just a way of getting us away. And then we'd turn up some Mondays, no training. He'd take us to a cafe. We'd go and play poker all day. He just had that ability of just getting that.
Why were there so many chickens dying?
He had a load of foxes or something. I don't know. He kept foxes with chickens in the same pens. Like, what do you expect? Do you know what I mean? He fucking.
Just wondered if he weren't supposed to have the ability to keep chickens.
Like an eccentric element to him.
Fucking hell. When I walked in that first time, we spoke about Varney before we started. Quiet lad. He's the only one I knew. So I sat next to him. I thought, I ain't going to get much out of him, but I'll sit next to him, do you know what I mean? And all I could hear was him. You've heard him screaming. He's like, fucking hell. I'm like, who's that? He said, that's the gaffer. I was like, oh, you fucker. Do you know what I mean? I'll get on with him. And then I didn't really so I only worked with him for a year. So then I signed for Leeds and we played Palace away. Stephen Dobie's gone. I fucking scissored him. Took a big, take one for the team. They were on the break. I thought, take a book in here. He's fucking screaming, ready, you cunt. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, you'd have done it. He's like, yeah, maybe. So then about 5 minutes later, Johnny Williams has come out. I've smashed him. He's going mad. Should have been a booking, should have been off. Game went, but 1-1 it was. 2 minutes to go, I've fucking done a couple of lollipops, bit of skill I had from crew. But then I whipped it back. Steve Morrison scored. And imagine Ollie. We went 2-1 up. He's going nuts because I shouldn't have been on the pitch at the time. So Warnock's come behind me, grabbed me, goes, well done, son. And I seen Ollie out the corner of my eye and I thought, fuck it, here's my chance to cheers, gaffer. He went, don't you fucking gaffer me, you cheating cunt. He goes, I bought you up better than that. I was like, only we are here. Do you know what you're on about? So he went for me, literally tried to get me on the pitch. David Norris looked after me, to be fair. And then we got in the tunnel, he went for me again. But we spoke to him since now. It's all cool. He said you had my blood boiling that day. And I thought, yeah, I had that ability. Do you know what I mean? So.
It was mad because Brett spoke about giving croupiers a trial from the casino. Yeah. Somebody brings them room service. They're in for a trial. Was there just mad stuff like that?
It was almost the scene in that season, that Premier League season, about 50 lads try and train with us. Do you know what I mean? It was, and then we'd have been unbelievable up to Christmas. And we had about 28 points, and that was enough. With stats, do you know what I mean? All we got to do is go steady towards the end. And he went to, in that international break, he went to watch Barcelona train. So we come back, he signed a load of players. He signed Andy Reid, James Beater, this Russian lad, this Kornilenko. And we just changed everything. We were so dynamic. Charlie used to get the ball, zing it over someone's head, we were in. And he just changed us completely. We started passing out from the back. We had 400 passes that first game back and got beat 4-0 at Fulham. And that just shows you, from being that dynamic team to trying to pass, and then we hardly got a point after Christmas. I think the lads were on about 220 grand after tax to stay up, and we took it to last day at Old Trafford and still took the lead twice. Charlie scored a couple, I think, and yeah, most of them had spent it at Christmas. Yeah. So killed half of it.
Because I remember him talking about it when he got the Blackpool job. I don't know if his previous job was Leicester, and he said, "Then my next job, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to play how I want to play."
Yeah,
and it sounds like he did.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's just
change it up.
Is he trying to reinvent the wheel?
I spoke to a lot of Leicester managers and Leicester players, and they loved him as a manager. But the way he tried to play was different from that dynamism. I think everyone loved that. That attack. We used to score 2, probably concede 3, but at least when you think about it, we had a right go. Do you know what I mean? And that's all you can ask for. That I talked about underdog mentality. That's what he instilled into us as well. Do you know what I mean? Because we won at Liverpool, didn't we? We beat them twice, and I'd got the winner, and I was buzzing because I spoke to Ryan Lowe before the game about getting Gerrard's shirt. So we beat him. We can imagine I didn't want to go up to him and say, "Fucking gives your shirt." Then we've just beat Anfield, mate. Do you know what I mean? But so I'd gone up after the game, and Ollie's like, "I can't get in this dressing room now, you lot. We're trying to get shirts," and he's like, "Fucking put that down." He wouldn't let us take the shirts. He said, "This is a circus." He said, "You lot, don't you think you're going to play them again?" And we're like, "Probably not." Do you know what I mean? Fucking good chance we'll go down here. I'm going to get everything I can. So he'd gone in, and I'd come out of the dressing room, and I seen Joe Cole. I said, "Joe," Stevie said, he must have thought, "Who the fuck are you calling Joe?" But I said, Stevie said I could have his shirt, and fair play, he got it for me. So I was buzzing, yeah. Good days.
It's mad because from that, it's kind of frowned upon for a British manager to have that eccentricism. Is that a word?
Eccentricity.
Yeah. But then but with like your Artetas and your Guardiolas, it's like when like Arteta's playing You'll Never Walk Alone at the ground, everyone's like, oh, genius, brilliant. But then if you're a British manager, it's like, who's this
Lunatic.
dickhead? What's he doing?
Yeah.
He's off his head.
Yeah, honestly, some of the things I think about Ollie, some of his methods and that, it was fucking mad. We obviously right by the beach, the training ground, innit? And it'd hail twice a week, even in June, do you know what I mean? It was fucking nuts. And he'd just run us in, we'd be soaking wet. Come on then, back out. It was just like a porter cabin. There was a hole in the corner for the water to run out in the porter cabin. We're washing his own kit. You know what I mean? We're going down to London with a training kit, all the dirty boots. But again, that kept us that underdog mentality about with, do you know what I mean? And it's brilliant, really, isn't it?
Do you think he changed then because were doing well? Do you think he thought, right, here we go?
Yeah.
And then forgot bash here.
Yeah, forgot
I think he said
got you
that.
there.
He said about being predictable. Do you know what I mean? But if it's working, do you know what I mean? It was a bit. I think if you asked him, he'd probably regret it a bit because I didn't play a lot in the second part of the year. I played 25 games up to January, and then didn't feature a lot back end of the season. So
Sounds like we've been predictably unpredictable.
yeah,
though.
exactly. And like I say, I think the lads definitely regretted it, and I'm sure he did.
Did you get a letter from Prince William?
Yeah, that was
Personally?
Yeah, we had Wolves at home, and I'll never forget. You know, I used to jump quite high, and I win a few headers, so I was on the left wing. So before we'd started, the wife and that fucking rang me, babe. Usual spot, you know, the players' lounge. We ain't got it today. I'm like, why? She goes, Prince William's on a stag doing fucking. I swear. I said, where's he going? I'm coming. So I looked up.
On a stag
They're
do.
all sat in that corner. The kids and the missus are fucked up over there with the away fans, and I'm like, fucking hell. So I thought, fair play, better turn up today then, innit? So the game started. I'm winning all the headers against Kevin Foley. Remember, right back play for Wolves, quite a small lad. So I won every header. I'm bullying him in the air. So then he said to me, I actually played with him a few years later at Ipswich. He said, you know, so the next one that come, he let me control it. So I've chested it, fucking let rip. And I've never hit a ball like it. It flew in the far top corner. So he actually said to me, because you were winning in the air, I thought you'd chest one. I thought, hey, you regret that now, you can't, don't you? You know what I mean? So I've literally whacked it, flew in the far bin. And after that game, Mick's actually said to me that Jez Moxey said to him, we need to get rid of Hanneman. He said, you're fucking joking, 2 goalies wouldn't have saved it. Do you know what I mean? But then I've walked to the top of the stairs to get the Man of Match award, and he's there. So I didn't know what to do. I was curtsying, I was bowing, I fucking didn't know what to do. I was going like that.
Like Liz Truss.
Yeah, I fucking didn't know what to do. And he went, no, don't bother. And he just said that. He said it will live long in his memory, and just said, like, listen. And I think it was close to the wedding to ask for an invite. So I said,
Well, it is stag do.
yeah, it was his stag, yeah. So I don't
Can't
know.
believe fucking Prince William's gone to Blackpool for his stag do. That's like, I don't know if it's incredible or fucking out like shit.
Were you still in a hotel?
Yeah,
Not
I should
banging
have
down
gone,
things
shouldn't I?
like,
He had,
who's fucking sick at it?
He's
Open
the
the
only
door
one,
and Prince
he's
William's
the
got
only
his
man in
underpants on
history
his
to have
head.
flares boxed off in Blackpool. Do you know what I mean? So
He had the glasses and the fucking medallions and that.
yeah, so I had so I got a letter through just saying, listen, it'll live long in his memory, and it was a great weekend and stuff. So
Have you still got it then?
yeah, my mum laminated it, I think. So yeah, I put it somewhere.
Quick break in play, gents, for our favourite VPN service. Put my jacket on. I wish I could VPN my location to somewhere a bit hotter.
Fucking hell, tell us about
Where
it.
would you go?
Mexico,
Doha.
somewhere nice. Oh, it's World
Cheap
Cup coming.
Cheap Netflix over there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, for those who don't know, NordVPN is the best VPN in the
World.
world, yeah.
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 Put the words out.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were thinking you're off-regging it, weren't you, when you
Yeah.
said the best in the world? But
No,
it is.
you're probably right. You're probably right. If you don't know, you can bounce your location. So if you want to watch those things that are abroad, the matches, or get cheaper Netflix and other streaming services, you can do that by bouncing your location anywhere in the world.
We've had a lot of positive feedback from
Yeah, we
listeners.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
Who've
it is,
used it and-
it is a bit of a shambles, really, though, isn't it? That people in other countries can watch our football and we can't. Saturday at 3.
Tell you what,
Stop tapping.
Glastonbury tickets are going on sale this weekend, and I got an itinerary of because we've got a group of us all trying to get tickets. And VPN, because they're like, you've got to look like you're coming from different locations. So I'm using my VPN. Oh, he's buying tickets from Australia. Boop, boop, up the queue.
Magnificent.
Hello. Yeah,
Go on.
I don't want to go to Glastonbury, so don't get me tickets.
getting you a ticket anyway.
Go.
Getting you a ticket anyway.
Just tell us what it's like.
last thing I want to do is shitting on other people's shit.
And
Just book
also,
a 3 o'clock kickoff.
And also, if you
me own house.
if you want to keep your passwords and your bank details secure. What have they got?
Is it still military style security?
Oh, it's still military style.
I don't think it is a case of if you want to. Surely you've
We
got
all
to.
do.
Surely you've got to.
No, but if you want the military style,
Right.
then you want to be using NordVPN.
It's a given, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, cut the shit, Chrissy. Have we got an offer on?
Have we got it? We've always got an offer. 30-day money-back guarantee plus 4 months free.
4?
4 months free, same as last time.
And-
You look shocked, but it's same as last time. All you got to do is follow the link in the description, nordvpn.com/cosh.
I still think it's the best deal we do with this.
Yeah,
It's up there.
get involved.
Any stories from Blackpool? Any more stories?
Oh, there was. I tell you what, there was one, that Liverpool game that was good. We all had a fucking sausage and egg meal on the way to Anfield and beat them. And I'll never forget it. We were all burping sausage in the warm up, and fucking Gerrard's pinging 50-yard balls off the floor that far. And I'm thinking, what are we doing here?
McDonald's.
Yeah, we all had a fucking. No, I did a few of the boxes at the game, and I told the fans the story. They loved it. Do you know what I mean? Because you can imagine they think it's all like fucking pasta this, and we literally, Gaffer's got on and said, "Do you want a breakfast?" And we're like, "We've had some." And I thought, "Is it a test here?" I'm going Mackey's. I went, "Go on, then I'll have a sausage and egg." So we all had because it was a 12:30 kickoff. So we'd all had that at the ground.
On the way to Anfield?
Yeah, and we beat them. Yeah.
So that just throws sports
Yeah,
science out the window.
exactly.
So did you check it last game? Did you say?
Yeah, we went to Anfield. I went to Old Trafford knowing we needed to bet Wigan's result, I think, and Charlie had scored one, a free kick. Then it went to 1-1, went 2-1 up. Charlie scored again, and we're thinking, hey, up lads, we spoke about that 220 grand. Do you know what I mean? We could smell it, mate. I'm like, oof, and I was only on loan. Do you know what I mean? So it, and then they'd scored again, and then I think I headed one, it hit the bar. And I looked over and Ollie didn't move a muscle, so I knew we'd screwed. I knew Wigan had probably scored. So it just, again, that was Fergie's last game. So I wish I'd have stayed now, because he did the bit of the chat on the pitch after, but we were all that pissed off that it eventually fell short. But leading up to Christmas, we thought we'd hit the jackpot, do you know what I mean? But still great years and great memories from that season.
How good were Charlie?
Oh, amazing. Just some of the stuff he used to do with a football. Like, you see the Premier League goals now, most of the goals go in the top half, don't they? Like, your fucking top corners. With them Marta Deltas in the Championship, you can't get them off the deck, can you? It's hard, isn't it? But he used to, fade the ball. I used to see him in training, he'd hit it outside the post, like Roberto Carlos did that. He'd just do it all the time. And I just think, how the fuck does he do it? And he probably, because he had real preds, he'd say this to you. He used to look at our boots, we all wore Adidas back in the day, and he'd look in them and say, made in Indonesia. He said made in Germany. He's had them made properly by Adidas. Do you know what I mean? We're going Sports Direct to get our fuckers, aren't we?
Do you know, like the end of that season, are you on a free?
Yeah.
Because you're on loan.
Yeah.
So it's just on a Bosman.
Well, no, sorry, I had a year left at Derby, but they were willing to write it off. Do you know what I mean? But we spoke about up until Christmas, I had 5 or 6 goals, and I'm thinking, I've got a good chance of a move here. So Bolton had actually showed a bit of interest, but what fucked me off? That game that I played for Derby, remember the first game of the season? So you can't play for 3 teams in 1 year. So playing in that one game screwed I might have got a good move to Bolton. So I ended up staying at Blackpool and obviously not playing that many games. And then I think I promised my missus I'll move closer to home. So I went from Blackpool to Portsmouth, which is I went from one end of the earth to the other.
And was that a circus? Before, did you know that they were had financial difficulty?
No, not at all. A time for Portsmouth. We bought an house in Newbury, which was a bit in between, perfect really for getting back. I think Russians had took over. There's loads of money within the club. I just had my first daughter was born actually. I felt so settled, do you know what I mean? And she'd been born about 3 weeks. I had a knock on the door, massive Harrods hamper come. Cashmere cardies, fucking all the gear for the baby. I'm thinking, we'll do all right here, baby. Little did we know it's all been laundered from fucking Lithuania, all this money. Do you know what I mean? So then we went into admin, which was difficult, must I admit.
Soon was the indications that there might be some financial trouble after
To be
signing.
fair, I noticed, I think once...
They come collecting the Cashmere cardies.
They come back asking for the bill come from Harrods. Do you know what I mean? I was like, no, obviously Cott's got asked to go Forest, and I just sort of smelt a rat then. I knew something was going wrong. We didn't have a lot of investment in the season. To start of the season, we had about 11 players. And I think Steve Cotter in the morning used to shake everyone's hand. It was like a ritual to sort of get everyone back, even if you fell out of each other on the Saturday. And one morning Dave Kitson had come in And he didn't shake his hand, and I thought, what's going on here? And he's like, no. Steve Cox has gone, fuck this. I've been at the ground arguing for you lot today, trying to get you this, this and this. First game away was Middlesbrough. And he goes, I don't need you. And I'm like, Gaffer, we need him. Do you know what I mean? We've got 12 players. We need to take him up there. And we end up going away and getting a result. I think I scored a late goal. And after that week, just bits started coming out. And then obviously the administrators came in, and I just thought, fucking hell.
Are you keeping upbeat?
Yeah, to be fair, it sounds... Back then, when I think about some of the lads that... People think about footballers like got loads of money, but there's a lot of them that are paying a lot off for the mortgages. It's all relative, isn't it? You pay off what you can, and they were doing that. And then to not get paid for 6 months in any work of life, it's difficult, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So there's people like Jason Pearce. I remember Joel Ward, who's at Palace now, had a brilliant career. He didn't have no money to live. Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely brutal. So... Yeah, it was tough times, to be fair, going into that. But we still rolled out, and I think the Portsmouth fans don't understand how tough that was at the time. Losing, we weren't getting hotels, we were going up on days, do you know what I mean? Trying to cut cloth accordingly, which you have to do when you're in admin, which you understand. So,
was it at Portsmouth when you were in the changing rooms, sliding across the thingy?
Yeah, that was a way of getting me through the day, sort of stuff like that.
Keeping upbeat.
Yeah, exactly. I think... yeah, we had a good squad for that sort of stuff down there.
It was on Soccer M, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I don't know who sent that in, to be fair. I started it in pre-season, we did it in America. But so I basically oiled up the floor. I think the Man City kit man did it, didn't he, this year? You've seen him, he's been doing it as well. So I'd oil the floor up and literally slide through the dressing rooms. But I ended up breaking one of my fingers, so I had to fucking calm it down. I remember that one's a good one, to be fair. Obviously, Ben Jarney stood there. You think about some of the lads we had. Tel Ben Ayeem's been at Chelsea, just stood there like thinking, who's this cunt here? Sliding through the dressing room on his stomach. Do you know what I mean? Canu was there, fucking doing kick-ups. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, it was unbelievable. But those sort of characters, you can imagine that in admin, it doesn't really, it does affect them, but they're on a lot of money. So... Luckily for me, obviously Leeds offered to take on my contract, and 5 others. There was me, Jason Pearce, Jamie Ashdown, David Norris. So basically all I asked was for my 6 months that was owed. That's it. I don't want any more money going forward. Leeds are going to take my contract over. And I remember the manager, to be fair, ringing me and saying, listen, you need to go without taking any of this 6 months. He said, we can't do it. And I was thinking, I'm not willing to do that. Do you know what I mean? I'm owed that money. It's not. I could say what some of the other lads are saying. I want them 2-3 years as well. There was lads asking for a couple of million quid. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, listen, I just want that 6 months. I'll go to Leeds happily. And he tried to threaten me, to be fair. And I was passed it on to my agent, an agent at the time, and he was like, I'll sort it out. So about 10 minutes later, they rang and give you 80%. So I was like, done.
Okay.
So I did that, and went to Leeds. I remember driving up to Thorpe Arch and again signed the papers. Didn't have my pin street Prada suit on that time. I just went a bit more cash. So I've signed the deal at Thorpe Arch, and then rang Warner. Neil texted the lads down, didn't he, to his house in Torquay every pre-season. He's got a big gaff down there, 9-hole golf course, fishing lakes. Fucking lovely it is. He does a barbecue for you, and you end up playing Torquay and all the teams down south. So I'd signed the deal, think, fucking Leeds United, do you know what I mean? What a move this is. So I rang him, I was like, Gaffer, all signed. What shall I bring down south? He said, just bring your golf club, son. Put the phone down. And I thought, I've hit the jackpot here again, do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. So that was a brilliant signing for me to get to a club like that, do you know what I mean?
What was the crack when your flight got cancelled back from, was it America?
Oh yeah, that was interesting. I think we had a great tour. We went to South Charleston. It was amazing. Played a good few games. We had a good few nights out as well. Cots was fantastic in that. Because we'd had a big turnaround of players, getting them bonding sessions we talk about, quite important. So, yeah, we were about to fly back from Boston, and back in them days, sleeping tablets were like fucking sweets. Like the lads were gagging from, do you know what I mean? Needed them to get sleep on a weekday. So it was, I used to get the doc clued up early doors. Can I have one for the flight? Be like, yeah, listen, don't say anything. Lads are after them. So about an hour to go, I've slammed it for. By the time I get in that plane, I'll be gone, mate. Looked up, flight cancelled. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Cots has gone, get yourself out, lads. We're flying tomorrow. I'm like sitting there like that, drooling everywhere. Everyone's gone upstairs to get changed. So fucking nightmare, mate. But
I bet you made it though, didn't you?
I drank through it, yeah. I had a fucking headache next day, I tell you that much.
Did you get one for the flight the next day?
No,
or not?
he ran out and he gave the rest of them one for the proper flight. So yeah, that was mad.
David Norris spoke to us. He said you were his roommate.
Top man, mate. Yeah, great lad. Hairiest man on the planet. You ever see? Fuck it. He used to bend over. I used to go, ow. It's like a yawning Alsatian, his arse. That's what I used to say to him. But yeah, top man, mate. Proper pro. Do you know what I mean? Again, he won't mind me saying this. Didn't have loads of ability, but worked his cock off. So I didn't make many friends in football, but kept hold of a couple. Do you know what I mean? You end up using them as colleagues, but he's a proper mate, and he's just been down for me 40th, to be fair. Seen him the other week, so
You've looked after his lad.
yeah, a few times. I say look after him. He has to volley him everywhere. I didn't have kids at the time. I bet he's told Jenny. Yeah. So I remember they used to jump on the beds and I'd be whacking fuck out of them with pillars. You know, imagine he's bouncing that way, I'm hitting his legs, so he's basically flipping, landing on his neck. And I thought, I better stop, I'm going to end up causing him a major... But they love me, do you know what I mean? You can imagine, can't you, the kids?
Uncle Reg.
Yeah, that's it, mate, that's it. So, yeah, he looked after me because I think he'd rented a place literally just opposite Four Park, so I'd stay up quite a bit with him. And because we'd been through the same situation at Leeds and Portsmouth together, do you know what I mean? I met him at Portsmouth initially. So yeah, that was it was good sort of good roommate.
I don't know if I dare, sorry, Chris, I don't know if I dare ask this. It just says people's.
What's that? Oh yeah, that was enough one. Yeah, I had again in the hotels. I used to have a bit of a thing for taking the peepholes out of out the rooms. You can screw them out, can't you? You know the bits you look through. So I'd walk down I'd get the room list from the downstairs. Say I need it because I'm the fitness coach. I used to tell them I've got to deliver a few bits because they weren't keen on giving that stuff out. You can imagine, can't you? Hotel full of footballers, anyone could go in and ask. So I'd just say that, I'd take the peepholes out, I'd wait, knock on the door, wait till they look through. And I started with water. So water ain't going to do too much damage. But then I worked out that I started getting foam bursts, the shower gel. So I fucking started taking them out. As soon as they'd look, bit of foam burst straight in the eyeball. They'd hear them screaming the next behind the door, do you know what I mean? So I think I got Richard Wood once, centre half, he's at Rotherham now, and I think he struggled for a good few hours, like. You can see why loads of them wanted to beat me up, can't you? It's fucking... But
Would you get restless?
They could just hear me running up and down the court. Exactly that. Yeah, I've just got that. Is it FOMO, isn't it? Like I say openly, like I struggle to sleep because I can't wait to wake up. It's weird. I'm like in bed thinking, what the fuck? I can't wait to get up tomorrow. I've still got it now. Yeah, it's nuts. My missus will say to me, I'll run past the double doors in the garden. She goes, will you fucking sit down? I'm like, no. Do you know what I mean? I'm like a fucking jack in the box, do you know what I mean? But I love it, and hopefully I'll keep that, do you know what I mean? My kid, the only thing is I fucking passed it down to the kids.
You do a naked training session once at Portsmouth?
Yeah, that was another admin thing. I don't know what happened there. I was injured, I'd just done my MCL, and everyone was in the fucking doldrums then, weren't getting paid, weren't in a good way. And I don't even know where it come from. I must have been having a mass on, just had my pants on, and Appleton had just took over as manager, and I thought, fuck this. And Chuck Norris was like, what? I said, watch it, get your phone ready. So I whipped all my gear off, just my boots and socks. I'm running, getting MCLs hanging off. They're doing a 5-a-side on a Friday. So I've ran onto the pitch, tried to jump on Appleton, he's moved. Tried to jump on Ben Ayeem. It was January as well, the fucking old Bill about an inch big, do you know what I mean? So I've tried to jump on Ben Ayeem, he's gone to slap me. And then the playing and the ball's come across, I've ended up heading it, and everyone was just in bits. All the office staff, all the women were still there. And I'm running back, headband on, no gear, just the old Bill swinging about. So that was the sort of thing we got up to, and it changed the mood for a couple of hours or so.
You just imagine like a manager or someone, when you're saying everyone's down and like...
Well, he'd been there 2 weeks. He must have thought, what's going on here? But then I heard, as I say, I was injured. On the Saturday on the way to the game, they put the video on the bus. So I thought, fair play, like the lads had a bit of a chuckle, do you know what I mean? So
again, though, we've talked about it a few times, like any other wicked environment.
Nah,
oh, yeah.
You know, wicked in curries.
So running past
You'd get arrested, wouldn't you?
running past telly with no clothes on.
Yeah,
come on, Doreen.
Yeah.
Jumping on
But
Steve's
being
back.
seen as a positive, though, he's got the lads up, hasn't he?
But we say about Portsmouth about being in admin. Another thing about it is they won't let us train or play because they wouldn't want us getting injured. Do you know what I mean? So me and Liam Lawrence played tennis for about 3 months, well, about 3 weeks. Just played tennis every day, because if we get injured while we're training, then our move might get delayed going to Leeds or wherever.
So they didn't want you getting.
So it's crackers to think that's what I
wrapped up
got
in
good at
cotton
tennis.
wool.
I fucking tell you what, I was all right.
Do you know when you signed for Leeds, were they not in a similar type of position? Not as bad as Portsmouth, but didn't they have a high wage bill and
Yeah,
trying to
didn't
clear
have
the
that
debts?
too many big hitters. I think the thing with Leeds, it's such a big club, isn't it? I think we suffered for them still feeling like a Champions League, Premier League club, but we weren't. We were in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? So it was, it was. I think I did all right initially, and I think they gave me the number 11 shirt. It didn't go well. Do you know what I mean? They've had some good number 11s. I think they fucking cancelled me off that list now. So now I've finished, I still see a lot. They're everywhere, aren't they? I remember getting off a plane at Slovenia and there were 2,000 waiting for us, and I thought, that's the size of this club. Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely immense. And I think the last bit was when obviously I signed for Blackburn, and before I signed for Blackburn, we'd had a week where I was on 12 appearances, I'll never forget it now, and played really well. We had a load of injuries, forward injuries, so I'd not played a few weeks before, and Brian McDermott had played me on the Saturday. We played Leicester on Sky, and I got man of the match. So I thought, fucking lovely. I needed 15 games to get a new deal. So come the Tuesday, I had Ipswich at home, and I knew what he'd say. He said, listen, we're going to play you again. And I knew the forwards were back the weekend, so I knew what was going off. I'd already spoke to Blackburn, and he said, we're going to play you again Tuesday. And I said, fucking damn right you are. Do you know what I mean? I played well Saturday, but I said, I'm not playing.
No, you are.
And he went, what? I said, I'm not playing. I'd already worded Blackburn up. I know what's going on here. Your forwards will come back Saturday and I'll be back out. You ain't going to let me get to that 15. So he said, you're telling me you're not playing for me? I said, yeah. I said, I'm going to look after myself. I'm out of contract. Do you know what I mean? Which probably, thinking about it now, wasn't a great decision. And I think he ended up going public with it, which didn't help me. So I didn't play on that Tuesday. Like I say, went to the papers, said it. So the Friday was when the window opened, and I'd gone up to the loss against Ipswich. And I'd gone up to Blackburn on the Friday to sign for them. Fucking thinking, buzzing here, listen, I just need to get out. I was under a bit of pressure at Leeds. I actually accepted that I'd get paid quite a bit less as well, just to get out and just go and play some games. Because I always had that in my mind. If I weren't playing, I'll go and play for anyone, just want to play football. So I'm there, just about to do my medical. I was there, you know, the hotel opposite. Remember the opposite training? I was in there all day waiting, fucking thinking, let's get this done. And Chilino rang me. So he just took over at Leeds. Is it Chilino? What was his name? Yeah, is that right? And he rang me saying, listen, Luke, come back to Leeds United. We'll give you a year contract. I said, I can't come back. I said, I've told Brian I won't play for him. He said, don't worry about Brian. I'm thinking, fuck me. You're going to get rid of Gaffer, give me the year. And I had nothing against Brian McDermott, but at the time it was just that we had this understanding about a contract. So he told me, give me a year. So I've had to go up to Gary Bowie and say, listen, I can't sign for you. I'm going to go back to Leeds and get me a year. He said, you're playing tomorrow as well. We had Huddersfield at home. So I'm in the changing room getting changed at Leeds. Imagine I've been at Blackburn yesterday, think I'm signing for them. Put my gear on. Fucking McDermott walks in the changing room. What are you doing? I was like, I've been told I'm playing. He says, you fucking ain't. So I thought, I didn't want to look at the lads all laughing their heads off. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been told I'm playing by the chairman, and then the manager comes in who's still got the job because he told me he was going to get rid of him. So then I thought, fuck this, I'll be the bigger man. So I kept my kit on and I've ran out on the pitch and did the warm-up, you know, next to the lads. I weren't in the squad, but I just thought I'll need my bit of work. So I did it, thinking I might still go Blackburn possibly. And because he'd gone public, all the Leeds, for the second I walked down the tunnel, they were all going, you fucking cunt, you bold bastard. One lad shouted, Varney, do you want me to drive to Blackburn? I went, not in your shit car, you cunt. Do you imagine? He's like that. He's trying to get over the spirit. He's trying to rip my head off. I'm like, that might have
Didn't have a red golf, did it?
Oh, fucking hell. But I was doing it next to Adam Drury, who was quite a quiet lad, and he was in the crossfire. I was like, fuck's sake. And unfortunately for me, I ended up getting it sorted at Blackburn. So, and then actually for Blackburn, I went back, Leeds come to Ewood, the next game, I think it might have been. And then Sam Barham stuck his leg out, and instead of running into it, I decided to jump over it, and we got a late pen and beat them. So that was interesting. I got a few videos of Leeds fans jumping off the desks at work in the week after, and struggled to get to my car, I'll tell you that much, that Saturday. They're fucking waiting outside for me. So
How long did McDermott last?
I think he stayed for another season or so, maybe.
right.
Yeah, so it was all right. It was fine. But I think they couldn't understand at Blackburn how I've gone there on loan and taken less money, because I could have said, listen, I just wanted to play football, and I went to Blackburn and didn't play. So
we've got to mention this miss of the century.
Oh yeah, that's a pass to Juve if you actually watch it, and he fucking missed as well. Yeah, that was nuts. I think
was it Warnock who gave it that tag?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I can't really remember. I don't want to remember it, to be honest.
I
Literally, it was that easy. It was harder to miss. Do you know what I mean? One of them. But I actually played really well that game, so I'll take that as a bonus. But yeah, fucking not. That didn't go down well. Do you know what I mean? They remember that as well. See what I mean? They remember that out of everything, the bastards.
Did you get on with Warnock?
Yeah, he's brilliant, mate.
Because I thought he'd get the best out of you.
Yeah, he did. He I tell you what, them first 5 or 6 games, I did all right. I thought scored a few goals, and then he just dropped me against Cardiff, didn't speak to me, and I thought, what the fuck's going on here? So walking down the tunnel at Cardiff, and he's put his arm around me from nowhere and just said, listen, it's good not to have them nerves. And you know when you sub, it's completely different to when you start, isn't it? And I just thought, he just knows, like as a man manager, he knows how players work. And he played me the next game, and I fucking didn't look back. Do you know what I mean? He just had that knack of knowing.
Did you need that then?
I don't know, probably not. Maybe I probably started coming off it a little bit, but it weren't, mate. And we always had this running banter with him and Paddy Kenny, do you know what I mean? On like Fridays, no matter what team Paddy was on, he'd give every decision to them, which could piss people off, if you're not in the squad and that. But you either go with it or you don't, do you know what I mean? He was fucking crackers, mate. But yeah, top man. Still speak to him now as well.
Did you get some stick from Holloway for diving?
Yeah, that was it's on that Eagles documentary on Netflix, I think. That was that game when I've halved over, and he's just come up to me and he fucking went for me, like I say, in that tunnel. But then we had a bit of a chat on TalkSport. So basically they said, you two have a chat now. We won't put any questions to you. And he literally brought that up and he just said, no one's ever pissed me off as much as you did that day. Do you know what I mean? But it was all in sport. Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely fine after, and we shook hands. And
a good dive.
I've got a bit of a label for this, and I'm jumping over people's legs, but yeah. Hey,
there's
mate, the only thing is now, you think about the managers I was playing for, if I didn't go over his leg, I'd get a bollocking off them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Can't win.
Fans don't understand that, but you're not cheating, you gain an advantage for your team, mate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fucking cheating. No way of dressing it up, mate. You're cheating. You were just good at it.
So were you already at Blackburn?
Nah.
No, you come in I signed in the January and you come in this summer, didn't you?
Yeah. Good club, innit?
Oh, unbelievable, mate.
But I think you're right. What you said about Leeds still living in the past. I think Blackburn's the same, innit?
Yeah, I do.
I still think they should be Premier League champions.
Yourself any favours, here, lad.
That's true. I've said it
think
before.
we should have got promoted that year with the team. You think we had Grant Hanley, fucking Baptiste, Keane, Tom Kearney, Ben Marshall, Gested, Rhodes, me and you washing boots. Do you know what I mean? Didn't we? We had a great team, but just, and I've actually said to Gaz now, do you think Gaz was a good manager?
Yeah.
I did. I thought he was good, and I thought his meetings probably. We had a few meetings, didn't we, in a week? We get like a tannoy around Blackburn. Reg, Gaffer wants you in the office. It was like being at school, wasn't it?
Like being at Asda.
We talk about me being nice around the place. He'd get me in, how are the lads? I'm like, what are you fucking asking me for? I'm a player as well, Do you know what I mean? He's asking me. I was on the fence. I was on the other side already. I'm like, yeah, the sound. I said it. I think Rose is tired. I might need a game here. Do you know what I mean? But it didn't fucking never work.
Were you entertainments manager at Blackburn? Talking about
that was probably about right.
Your initiation and
that was my tag, I think. Yeah, I had that for the last couple of years.
And were you happy in that role?
Yeah,
blue coat.
Money went down a bit, but
good dressing room though.
Yeah,
social.
Good lads, weren't they?
Yeah,
massive club.
What, you just said they were living in the past?
No, what do you mean? It's still a massive club.
We had a good group with like Corey and Tom, them lads, Ben Marshall. But on the outskirts, there was a few that were just still like big hitters. Do you know what I mean? That I used to probably not understand. Do you know what I mean? A little bit, but
yeah.
How did you see that year at Blackburn? Like within the entirety of your career?
So you know what I did? I rented a gaff off Gary Taylor Fletcher in Chorley and paid a few quid for it, and I probably stayed there 15 nights out of the 18 months because both the kids were young and I weren't playing, so I thought I'd finish training and think, fuck that, I ain't staying here on my own because I'll end up going booze. What some lads end up doing, don't they? If you get a lot of time to yourself. So I'd end up driving 3 hours back to bleeding Leicester and coming back in the morning. And even sometimes on a Friday before a Saturday game, I'd do it and think, fuck it, I want to go back see the kids. But then a couple of times I got caught out on the way up the M6 and Gaz Bowie be next to me thinking, where the fuck are you going? Do you know what I mean? You live in Chorley, how comes you're south of Chorley? So he'd know that I was going home. But it just shows you like how when you're not settled and not playing, players can deviate, can't they?
Yeah.
Like say, go on to the beer and the betting and all sorts of stuff, all them sort of...
Having family as a distraction,
Exactly.
the best distraction you can have, really, isn't it?
It is.
Safest one.
Yeah,
Maybe not the best, because
No.
good nights out and the best. maybe the safest option.
Yeah, definitely.
So these managers get labelled old school and whatever, but they seem to always come for you, don't they? You look at Warnock,
Yeah, I think, like I say,
Holloway, McCarthy.
They know they're going to get sort of 100% out of me, do you know what I mean? Which is... The thing I loved about Mick as well, he'd after a Saturday game, you know, if you deserve it, he'd say to you, go and have a few beers. I think that's class, do you know what I mean? But then on the other hand, he'd say, don't let me find out any of you out tonight. And I'd respect that. Whereas when we were at Blackburn, he said, don't go out. I'm like, come on, lads. Not that I didn't respect Gaz, but back in that day, the respect I had as I grow up a bit and understood the game, it goes hand in hand, doesn't it? If you can get that respect out of your manager, you do a lot more on the pitch, I think. So...
But then he came for you again, Cloughie.
Yeah, that was... I think what I'd have done
You're
then...
surprised?
I was massively. That way, we talk about Sheffield Wednesday being working class, that's the same. All hands on deck, you're carrying the kit off the bus, everyone mucks in, and that's the sort of stuff I love doing, so...
The old boys back together then, eh? To Bywater, yourself.
Oh, fucking hell, that was... we had a bit of a leadership group with them as well, and I ended up taking that into Cheltenham. I loved, like I said, my time at Cheltenham. That nearly didn't happen as well. I spoke to, you know, when I finished at Burton the first time, Clough had said to me, "Are you going to retire?" And I thought to myself, I didn't leave upset, but I thought to myself, he's just like said to me there, "You're done," basically, telling me like you're finished. And I thought he ain't going to be my last manager. So I trained on my own all summer, and it got to a lot of managers at 35 that say they'll take you off, but chairman, they're not interested in 35-year-olds, you know, because there's no resale. So I was like, I ain't getting a club here. So it got to the end of September, and I ended up doing fucking 10k running races in Wales, trying to keep fit, doing all these mad stuff, thinking, is this going to come? And then Michael Duff rang me and said, listen, do you fancy a trial game at Cheltenham? I'm thinking, get fucked. I ain't coming to do a trial game in a League Two team, do you know what I mean? But then I had no other offer, so I thought, fuck it, I'll have to go down. So I went down. Yeah, so I'm going to have to do it. So I went down, drove down again, thinking this is fucking miles away. Sat in this toilet at the training ground and thought, text the missus, I thought, babe, fuck this, I'm driving back, I ain't doing this. So literally, this is no word of a lie. I'm on my phone.
Bucket of water over the top.
Wipe my ass, pull my jeans up. Went to walk out to get in the car, and Duff's coming towards me out the canteen. He went, all right. He said, you ready then? I went, yeah, Sam. So I put my kit on, played in this game. I'd not played football for fucking all that summer and about 6 months, and I ran more than anyone on the old pitch. And he said, that's all I wanted to see. He said, I was signing after 5 minutes. And I had my best 2 years in my career. So,
I mean, what, 35, 36?
30, well, you know, when I signed it was banter, because I signed on I agreed on the 30, I was 36, it was 27th September. Went the next day, it was my birthday. He went, you're fucking 37 now. I said, yeah, my birthday yesterday. So we were fuming. So he went, fuck me.
I've signed a 36-year-old.
Yeah, no, 37 now. Yeah. So
you played consistently then?
I played loads, yeah, and scored a good few. I think I found my level League Two, that about right for me. I should have played it all my career, might have done a bit better. But yeah, again, he put us in a leadership group. Nothing went back to him. We had me, Ben Tozer, Sean Long, Scott Flinders, Will Boyle, Charlie Raglan, quite a few of us, and we marshalled the whole thing. Fucking brilliant. And the lads listened to us, even the young lads, which I thought was amazing. And Michael Duff really gave us like a lot of freedom to sort of manage the group.
We've heard a similar thing at Wickham.
Yeah.
They keep
I can imagine he does that. Yeah, you can just see it, and we just slowly made great progress.
The generals.
Yeah.
Looking
and then they got rid of me and made even more progress and got promoted. So
You were fucking 39 though at the time.
Yeah, I know. So
And you eventually went back to Quad.
yeah, that was I went back to Burton after Cheltenham again. We just spoke about that as a player coach, and I was crap at both, so they soon found that out. So then I went back to Quorn and thought, I promised him I'd play for him one more time. He pushed the budget out. I think I got back fucking 30 quid a week or something. Do you know what I mean?
What, there was the same manager, same chairman?
No, same chairman, yeah. He still lives in the village. And like I say, he'd been involved on a lot of my moves. He'd come with me to Charlton. They made a few quid. His royalties ran out at Derby.
Royalties?
Yeah, so he got a few quid at 500 grand at Charlton, 100 grand from Derby, I think. And then at Portsmouth, he had no choice. He didn't get no money. But he'd actually been into Cottrell after I'd finished my deal and asked for 10 grand for the local football club. So Cots went to Monday, who's that cunt asking me for money? And I'm like, yeah, so we got 10 grand out of him or something. I was like, fucking hell, we've got no money as it is to get you, but fair play to him. If you don't ask, you don't get, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I went back and tried to play a few games, scored in every game pre-season, then the league started and it just weren't, not that it weren't professional enough, it just not, got targeted a bit in the games and yeah, just didn't enjoy it.
Nice though, like that's in a sentimental way to finish it off back where you started.
Yeah, I think I'm down there now doing a lot of coaching and stuff. I coach the under 10s and stuff, and like the younger lads, only on a fitness perspective, not in a football manner, because I can't give any judgment over on a football manner. I've got, like I said, that ability's not there. So yeah, I do the fitness side for them all, and still in and around the club lots. And yeah, I'm really glad to be back there.
Did you ever have a chance of signing for Leicester? Because were they your boyhood club?
Yeah, I don't know about chances, but I think I was left bitter, leaving at 14, because a lot of those lads that got the contracts never went on to play any football, do you know what I mean? And like I say, I think a lot of lads would benefit from doing what I did, going out, seeing a bit of the real world. And
give you the hunger.
Yeah, 100%. I think I never thought I'd get back into the professional game, but I always thought I'd get a non-league team maybe, national league maybe. So for me to have that eye opener and see what it's really about, because all they've ever done is play football, and I think that's why mental health's come into it so much now, because they get released at 16, 17. It's all they've ever known. Do you know what I mean? They've got no qualifications, most of them, and I can understand it's because even when I got released at 36 at Burn, I ain't got a clue what I was going to do. I was thinking, say, what they talk about the PFA, about the follow up. There ain't that many players that retire each year. All it would take is a phone call, say, I know the courses are available, they say they fund you, but just for someone to say, listen, what do you fancy doing? We can help you do this. And I spoke to Billy Jones about it as well. He was in a similar position. David Vaughan's done a course that he didn't end up following up on. So I can see that I was able to get that bit of the real world in me before I ended up going back into football, which I think really helped me.
It is mad to think that, say if you get released at 16, this day and age, kids are signing at 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
Exactly.
So everything going through school, that's all they've dreamed of, that's all they want to do, and then all of a sudden,
Bosh.
What the...
I see it now with the ones that are even a bit older, 14, 15, 16, they think they're going to be professional footballers. It's still miles away. I think this, obviously, don't think social media's helped. I think they're just watching what these amazing players are doing. It's just changed. We didn't see any of that, did we? Do you know what I mean? We were just playing football, weren't we? Enjoying it and just trying to get as far as you can without all the highlights and stuff. So I speak to a lot of them now. A lot of the lads that get released from Leicester end up coming and doing my fitness sessions and going down court. It's a bit of a feeder club. And I've spoke to a lot of them and just said my story. You can go again easily. Do you know what I mean? I said, I got picked up at 20. I said, and to be picked up at that age is mad now, especially at a club like Crewe. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the chances are still there. You never know who's watching. I always say that to all of the young lads. So,
best manager you played for?
I'd say Holloway in a freedom sense on the pitch, but as a man manager, probably Mick. I just had that massive respect for him, and he managed the squad brilliantly, I thought.
Best practical joke you've ever pulled? Or I'd pulled on you?
It's probably that turd was one for me. You know what I mean? I don't know, fucking hell. I've still got the wash bag. It's still got the stain on it. I'm thinking I'll get it out soon. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of stuff.
You just want to put a pig's head in your locker?
Oh yeah, that was the kit man at Portsmouth. Like I say, that time when we were in admin, it was. I tell you what, kick that off. So we ended up. He was a great kit man. He fucking tell you what. So we ended up putting. I put dye in his washing machine. He did all the white socks separately. So I chucked a blue fucking dye tablet in his washing machine. So all the socks come out blue. Can you imagine we're hiding, laughing his heads off? Like. So it was. And then I come in one day, opened it. It's pig's head with a fag in its mouth. Oh, it's fucking honestly. Who would go to that amount of detail to do stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? But,
is this the boxer? Was he?
Yeah.
We've heard about him, haven't we?
He might be worth having on. He's gonna have some stories about the the Portsmouth lad, to tell you. So yeah, he was fucking top man, Kev.
If it don't work out between William and Kate, and he has a second stag do in Blackpool, and he says, "Oh, you can bring 3 of your mates with you. Who you taking?"
They're sat here, aren't they? We're there, lads, aren't we? We'll have a crack. We'll do a podcast in Buckingham Palace, can't we, next time?
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Lovely venue as well, you.
This your old love?
This is mate. I said that, didn't I? Got to keep my head down around here. This is my local haunt. Yeah, it's a great gaff. If you ever fancy it, there's a few tribute bands. We can stick up wigs on that one weekend if you fancy it.
Well, it has got a bit of a Moulin Rouge feel, hasn't it?
It's a White Horse.
Yeah, White Horse in Quorn. It's top gaff.
I saw a video of you with Lionel Richie mask on.
Yeah, we
giving it the big in.
Yeah, Elton John's
you do it, mate?
I'm on it. Yeah, didn't mind. Yeah, Elton John's on it. Coming Christmas, I think.
Crocodile Rock.
Yeah, Crocodile. What else did they have? Ed Sheeran's been on. He's had some good gaffs there. So keep your eyes out.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Enjoy that.
Thanks for having me on.